Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man! All right! Episode 94 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Eric from Full Bleed Manufacturing in Kentucky. Let's go!
Oh, good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
You kind of look like it's like you're a little sleepy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks,
You're
bud.
welcome.
I was going to say thank you very much for making this happen for me.
For those who don't know, which is probably everyone.
Why would they?
Except for Eric. Yeah, Dylan can't record later. Dylan is going to a special show.
Special show.
And the rest of us made accommodations for him to get up at 5:30 in the fucking morning.
You didn't have to get up at 5:30.
I've been up since 5:30.
That's just you being you. That has nothing to do with this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's my fault. I see what you're doing. Sure. It's always it's never your fault, is it? Ever. I see how that goes. Well,
this is a rough therapy session. I feel like I've heard that a couple of times this week.
Yeah, maybe that's a sign. Maybe that you should look in the mirror a little bit. But I love you, and this is not a big deal. I'm just kidding. So this is fine. I remember though texting. What was it on Friday? And then that group
Mild Boys
chat thing. Yeah, Mild Boys. I don't know why, but well, first of all, half of them are on like the East Coast, and so that's a problem for us that aren't. And then they get up, Ron says he gets up at 4:30 a.m. every morning. Yeah. And he's like, what do you say? Something like,
the military.
He's like, get a start on the day. I'm like, Ron, that's 4:30 a.m. is not day.
Right. I've started going to sleep at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, that's when the rave is over, right? Isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So
Ron wakes up at 4:30, does 300 push-ups, eats 10 sausage links,
does a triathlon,
right?
Builds, houses for Habitat for Humanity. He's a good dude,
right. And then makes like homemade spaghetti or some shit.
Yeah, he's the pizza guy, So maybe that. I don't know.
You, Ron.
Yeah, I love how we can rip on him, and then at the end, if we just say, "I love you, Ron,"
it's all good.
That's fine. I don't know. I woke up to like 70 texts, and I said, "How are you fuckfaces able to formulate sentences?" At 5 in the morning, and then I got some shit for that. But anyway, yeah. So we're here. Check. Are we recording?
Are we? Hey, I like that Monarch shirt you got on. It was in my hands once.
Somebody really fucking cool printed it. Yeah. A really neat guy. You want to see it?
Yeah, sure. Oh, it looks terrible on camera. It looks so bad.
This is a sick print.
Thanks. What's funny about that is like I printed those, and when Aaron asked me to print them, he was like, "Yeah, I just want like." I can't remember how many he got. I think he got like 500 or something. And he's like, I want 250 larges, 250 extra larges. I was like, okay, whatever. Like show handouts. And then after the show, everyone was like, I want a shirt. I want a shirt. I want a shirt. And like, they started DMing me like, hey, where can I get those shirts? And I was like, oh yeah, just send me your address and size. And like, I still got some here. Like I'll ship them out for you. Like I asked Aaron, I was like, is it cool if I ship these out? So I got like a whole list, like literally printed off a list of sizes and addresses of people to ship shirts to. And then when I got out there, I realized I only had larges and extra larges. So like half the people were like smalls and mediums and 2X and whatever. And
well, Aaron, if you would have placed, yeah, you are, because if you would have placed an order here, Aaron, I would have advised you to do a different size run than all larges and all extra larges. Why? Because not everybody is a large and an extra large. So,
yeah, but for a show giveaway.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to insult and be insensitive to other people's different shapes and sizes. Cool.
Yes.
Well, not here at ShireCon. Here at ShireCon, we got you covered.
That's a good slogan for a shirt company.
It's probably been used somewhere. I don't know. So
it is now anyway.
Mhm. What else is going on? Oh. I've got something.
Do you?
Um, 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 um.
Banana? Can you please be that guy who we can watch you eat a banana on camera? That's not how you eat a banana, but it's probably how you eat a banana. That actually worked perfectly.
Well, did it look good?
Yes. Chad's definitely going to fuck with that. You
Hey,
just screwed yourself.
So here, I'm going to demonstrate something very important. A lot of people, most people anyway.
The proper way to peel a banana.
Yeah, they do it right here.
You
I
do
think
it
we
from the
maybe have done
bottom.
this before. No.
Wow.
See how this works so
This is
easily?
riveting content. Yeah, but you mushed it.
Do you eat that part right there?
No, fuck no. I picked that shit off.
Yeah, and so you kind of
And the strings,
get rid of that.
little danglers.
Yeah.
Yeah, peel those off. Oh God, Andy, that's a no-no. You don't eat a banana on camera.
I don't understand why not.
If you're a man in public and you're eating a banana, you have to break it off with your hand and then throw a chunk in your mouth. You can't fucking.
Don't know the rules. Don't care. All right. So tell me about your week.
Printing a shitload of shirts. I've been palletizing a shitload of shirts.
I don't know what that means.
a
Palletizing? What's that mean?
just like stacking boxes on pallets and wrapping them and getting them ready to be shipped.
Okay.
I bought a pallet jack with a scale on it. It'll be here on Monday. I've wanted one of those for quite a while. Gesundheit. It's you.
It's called allergies.
Mhm.
You know, do you have any, by the way, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm just
I
allergic.
don't know this about you.
I'm only allergic to your bullshit.
When I told you I had an intense sneeze attack, like that's real stuff. That's how it works for me. My body it decides it's allergic to something and it sneezes 10 in a row, and then I don't sneeze again the whole day. Just get it. I get them all out of the way. I didn't like choose this body. It just happened. All right.
Okay.
But here, you were saying something that's really, really important, and I want to hear it again.
I just said I've been going on walks at lunch. Last week was wonderful here. It was like 65, 70 degrees every day and sunny. And I just got in my car, I drove up to the lake and I walked around the lake.
Wow. I mean, the lake, you live close to a lake?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. And so you just walked like the perimeter.
Yeah, they have a bikeway walkway that goes around the lake. It's like this paved path and you can just get out of your car and walk it. Takes like an hour or so.
That's incredible. That's really, really good. So that's what it's about right there. And how do you feel? How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good. Get up, get a walk. It was nice because I just had my headphones in and I had Spotify going and I was listening to new music and I was making new playlists and I was just by myself and
like thinking, feelings and relaxing and breathing in fresh air, having like all that sky above you and taking in that beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Glorious.
And then you get some steps in, and probably, I bet you even slept better at night.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think I had a shitty sleep night this week.
All right.
You're like a 3-year-old.
It's Cheerios. And in fact,
and Cheerios in a baggie.
They're heart-shaped ones. You know why? Because they're good for your heart. Apple cinnamon Cheerios, good for your heart. It's breakfast. Look, you're the one. This is all of your fault because I had to get here before I could even eat breakfast.
Hey, bud. Hey. Thank you very much for making accommodations.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything you need.
And you actually took care of it too. Like I didn't. I just told you, hey, I can't record regular time, and you rescheduled and figured the whole thing out for me.
That's right. Your personal assistant.
Thank you. And
that's usually how it goes. So did you hear that, like in a few days, gas stations are going to, I think, cut their prices in half for a day?
No, I didn't hear that, Andy.
April Fuels.
So dumb.
Oh, it's so not dumb. Not dumb at all. So I was thinking if I was at a library and you saw me, from across the library, what would you say? If you'd come up and say something, wouldn't you?
I'd say, hey, babe, if you were a chicken, you'd be impeccable.
Oh, that's not like unpeccable.
No, impeccable.
Yeah, kind of. That's how I took it. I was like, if you were a chicken, you'd be not peckable.
No, see, I'm looking to peck.
That's good. I like it. That's your code.
I like that. That's what would get you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Frank.
it all starts with a screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicScreenFashion.com, FFFF,
Rank.com.
or
GreatFuckingScreens.com.
Yeah, that's the one with the most tracking.
And just so everyone knows, that is real. We've had some people think that that's not real, but it is real.
Everybody knows that's real. They know it's fucking real.
GreatFuckingScreens.com.
Cleaning screens is no fun. All right. But Easy Way, they make it funner.
Mm-hmm.
Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. Easy Way.
It's the easiest way.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Action Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
They make all kinds of accessories that printers not just want, but need.
Can think up. Did you see Eric's new cart?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Everything on it a screen printer would ever need in one cart. The thing probably weighs
like
1,000 pounds.
It probably weighs 1,000 pounds. It's probably 100 foot by 100 foot. But if you have that, you just roll it in. It's everything you need. And so the thing about awesome. It, yeah, you can put palettes. You can put like squeegees and ink and screens and the works.
All right. I got it up real quick. I saw this the other day and I was like, holy shit, this thing rolls. It says holds 14 screens, 18 pallets, squeegees, flood bars, 10 gallons of ink, comes with his and hers drink holders.
Here's the thing, like, as far as that goes, we're just not a shop that changes our pallets enough. Like, I think that the cart.
But for me.
Yeah, actually you do more. Because I don't know why, but you do. Mm-hmm. So if you're a shop like Dylan, which I'm not sure why you would be, but if you're a shop like Dylan, that was mean. That's early in the morning.
No, I like it.
I'm sort of
I like when you dig back.
No,
it makes me appreciate it.
If you aspire to be a shop like Dylan, which everyone should, then this ink cart is perfect for you. Check it out. I think you can check it out. It's probably on their website. So go check it out.
First one fabricated this week.
Yeah. So check it out at actionengineering.com. Then use shirt show, not shit show. We should change it to shit show. Like that should be the code, right? No. And use that at checkout. You get 15% off. Monarch Color makes ink that does what it's supposed to do. You learn more at monarchcolor.com. You ink better, you print better, you be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch.
Best ink there is out there. Hands down.
You want any of these?
No.
Here, open up your mouth.
I do like Cheerios though. I don't like cereal with shit on it. I like it
doesn't have shit on it.
No, I'm saying like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I want fucking like cookie crisps and shit for breakfast. So I was like, that's not no. Like I have basic ass brand, not Raisin Bran. I'm not a fucking psychopath. Cheerios. You know what my favorite cereal of all time is? King Vitamin. That shit would like razor blades in your mouth.
I know the roof of your mouth is never the same. It's like for 24 hours, you got to recover. And it's kind of like Captain Crunch does the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It'll do that.
King Vitamin were like little ninja stars. They were like,
they were
super sharp daggers,
but they were sort of similar to Captain Crunch. Like King Vitamin and Captain Crunch were cousins.
Right.
Yeah. So today our guest is Eric Schneider from Full Bleed Manufacturing in not Louisville, Kentucky, not Louisville, but Louisville. How you say it?
Not Louisville, but Louisville.
Yeah, that's actually it. I think you got it.
Okay.
So without further ado, did I say he was from Full Bleed? I can't remember. Did I say the whole thing?
You
right?
turn my fucking brain into mush every day, so I have no idea.
Well, you're welcome.
Thanks, bud. Well, Andy's taking a pee break. Before we get to the show, can everybody please go on Spotify, rate us, Apple Podcasts, rate us, leave us a review. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, bell, all that bullshit. Sorry I have to say this, but algorithms exist and the shit sucks. It helps us out. Or share stuff you like about the show on Instagram stories and we'll reshare it. Or DM us and let us know sweet pickup lines or dad jokes. Or just saying awful things about Andy. That'd be cool. So yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Love you. Send me some DMs. Always down to chat. Now I'm just going to sit here in silence while Andy pees. Hey, there he is.
You did such a fabulous job right then. I listened to it while I was
Urinating?
Yeah, exactly. And my flow was maxed.
So much. Well, it should actually go down because when things get.
You mean up?
Way. Yeah, in the air. Flow down, the rest up.
Right. Okay.
Eric, you're sideways.
I don't think anybody will notice.
This is my first Zoom meeting
ever.
Oh,
then you're doing great.
Yeah. Got through 2 years without having to do it.
Perfect. Where are you right now? It looks sick. You're home?
In my living room.
That's your living room?
Mm-hmm.
I actually can't say much. My living room looks very similar and my wife hates it.
Yeah. Exact same boat.
Yeah. Cool.
I have to, when I buy things, I have to ask permission if this goes in if this can go in the living room or if this can go in the office.
I feel like you're a little past that at this point.
Yeah, I'm a lot past that. I still ask permission. I just ask permission as I'm hanging it up.
Right.
Do you ask permission for like a lot of stuff? Because I asked permission yesterday to do something. Like, do you ask permission from your wife to do a lot of things, or is it just like the big stuff? You know what I mean?
Some stuff. It depends. If I think she's going to yell at me about it, then I ask permission.
Yeah, Andy, I'm curious on all the things that you ask permission for.
Yeah, same.
I tend to not ask permission on, I think 90% of the stuff, but so like purchases, you know what I mean? So most purchases I never ask until it gets over a certain dollar amount. And I'm like, well, I probably should. Like if I'm going to get a car, I think that I should tell her probably.
Oh, no? Actually, I bought a van. Actually, I traded a van for 50 t-shirts and I didn't tell her. Yeah, I don't ask her for permission.
That van will kill you, by the way. If you're getting a van for 50 T's, that's the fucking... So either someone died in that van, it's illegal and it had lots of drugs in it, or it's just a fucking bomb.
It's... One of the guys I print for runs a record label. He's not touring anymore. It's his old tour van. It's like a Chevy cargo van. And he just didn't want it anymore. And he's not good at deals. And he's like, would you trade it for some t-shirts? And he's
very not good at deals. 50 T's is what, like fucking $200?
Yeah. I literally went, 50 t-shirts because I didn't really want it at the time. And he was like, yeah, sounds great. Put it on my bill. And all right, I guess I have a work van now. This is great.
Yeah, it's full of bed bugs.
I mean, 50 T's is $200 to you, but 50 T's might be $500 to.
Yeah. Basically $500 to him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
it got
it out
I'm
of
just
his way.
saying, it's like, you get one scrap for that thing.
Yeah. It's, did I say Chevy? It's a Ford. I don't even know what kind of van it is. I care so little about. Yeah, like I didn't want it until I had it. Now I love it. And I want another van.
That's definitely
like a
not
nicer
something you
van.
ask for permission for.
No, not at all. When I pulled up in it, I got a what the fuck is that look? And
You said it's a fucking bang bus, babe. Get in.
Yeah, I mean it's got it's got like a loft bed in the back for touring and whatnot.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So she was proud of you.
Sure. Yeah.
He was like, cool, more shit for the driveway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's exactly. Yeah. One more thing in the way.
Mm-hmm. I fully understand.
What would it be? How would you feel if she showed up at home with a van and she's like, hey, honey.
If she got it for the equivalent, I would be fucking pumped. Hell yeah. That's a good deal, babe.
High fives all around.
Yeah, exactly. A good deal is a good deal.
Okay. Well, then it's a good marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. She pretty much lets me do whatever I want, but there's no weird controlling I mean, if we bought like a new car, we would talk about it and whatnot, but
yeah, I'm getting vibes that neither of you wear pants.
I wear pants.
So the wife wears the pants.
I have shorts on.
Yeah.
But I think this is important. I think that whether it's a marriage or whatever relationship you have, even if it's just like a serious girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, I think it's important to, give them space. Like they're adults.
Absolutely.
And don't, like, even if you have this budget set, which we don't, but if you do, like, if they want to buy something, fuck it, man, just let them buy it. Because, if you don't, well, then that's going to come back to haunt you, which is, I never want. And you don't want those restrictions. Do you? I mean, you want to be able to just kind of be a immature, like 17-year-old kid, like I am.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look behind me. I'm not a grown up. This is my living room.
Right. So there you go. There's some marriage advice. It's just, fuck it.
Just let it be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Show's over. Like that's perfect.
Yeah, that's it. There's
cool.
all of it. That's everything. All right. See you all later.
Yeah. I'm going to dodge this bullet and we're going to change subject. So what's going on today? I know it's early as shit. I'm sorry about that. It's 100% my fault. Andy told me you said you were not a morning person.
Not at all. Cool. I woke up a couple hours ago and got plenty of coffee. We're good to go now.
Okay.
Yeah, I normally don't even take a phone call before noon just because I'm kind of an asshole. And the earlier the day, the more loose I am with being an asshole.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
I try to avoid it at all costs. I just don't want to get yelled at. That's like my goal in life.
I just appreciate people who are really assholes. So
yeah,
if a lot of that comes out in this episode, I'm totally cool with it.
Awesome.
So,
well, and how you explained it earlier was that you were conditioned through years of
exactly
like nightlife, either being touring or being, I can't remember.
Bartender, bar manager, actually, okay. But same difference.
Was it you who told me that bar fight was not a good idea? Bar
fight's bad idea. Yeah. It's just avoid it at all costs.
There was an episode where we were talking about how I wanted to get in a fight at a bar and save like a girl's night. And then you texted me and you're like, dude, I promise you don't want to get in a bar fight.
No. Yeah. Someone actually just got shot at the bar that I worked at for over a decade. Last weekend, and it was because there was a fight and he came back and shot at the front of the building, and someone got shot because of getting in a fight and he got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot anybody. I just want to like, movie style fucking like uppercut and they like go through the air in slow-mo.
It's not how it works, but maybe.
I don't break a beer bottle over somebody's head.
That doesn't work out as well as you think it does either. It's hard to break a beer bottle.
More like
someone's head. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so how do you pronounce the city you live in? We were having a,
if you're from here, you say it like you have a mouthful of marbles, Louisville. But it's Louisville is the proper pronunciation. Yeah. Louisville, same as St. Louis or Louisville. But yeah, people here just say it is the laziest, most marble-filled mouth way possible.
I like it that way. That's my favorite way.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Like
Two
I'm having a
syllables.
stroke.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Louisville.
Yeah, there you go. You've been here your whole life.
Perfect. So what was up with that? You worked at a bar for like 10 years?
Yeah, that's how I got my adult life started, was in bars, working, bartending, promoting shows, that kind of stuff. Because touring's not a real thing unless you got to get lucky to make that your actual real source of income.
So were you in a band and then working at the bar, or was it the other way?
But I early on both, but never any successful bands. I toured with successful bands, like as the merch guy. But the music thing was not real.
You know what the funny thing about that is like, I feel like 99.9% of the screen printers that were in bands, that's what it was. It was just like, just because you're in a band doesn't mean like success, I guess, doesn't necessarily mean it's like your full-time career and all this other stuff. Like we still like to play music and just like play a shitload of shows, and you can play local shows. You can play shows in your state or like do an East Coast tour or whatever. It's still fun as fuck. Like,
yeah,
you could totally, right. But I'm just saying you could still do that for a long period of time and still have a regular job. And it's still just like amazing. You're just like a weekend warrior at that point. But that was my thing, is like when we did the band, we were like all in on the band, and we all still had like obviously regular jobs, but it was just like, it was just fun as fuck. It was like so in the moment at the time. Like the scene here was really good. Like shows were always super fun. And then, like you said, when it was over, it was over. It was like, I feel like as soon as we got done with the band, I felt like that like weight lifted off my shoulders of like, there's always like, I don't know, what do I want to call it? Like just like band drama between bands, not like our band specifically, but like other bands being pissed off that like when you play, after you play, everyone leaves. And they're like, well, we need you to play at this time, because if you don't play here, then people are not going to be here. And like it's just like all that stuff sucks. I'm like, I'm so
or the vice versa of that, where your band has more friends at the show and you play over the band that's like, I don't know, has more seniority or whatever, and they feel like they're supposed to play over you. But hey, if we played, you wouldn't have any friends here. So what do you want?
Or you get into the other politics of like, you're at my show, so you can only have like 2 pieces of merch, where we're going to have like a whole spread table and like all this shit because we want to sell more than you. Yeah.
I've had friends go on tour, and the headlining band told them they were only allowed to have 1 soft good. And it's like, so you're paying them almost nothing. Right. And then the one secondary source of income, you're limiting it to 1 piece. Like it's
such a funny thing. Like not a lot of people think about that when you like go to shows. It's just like a regular like audience member. It's like the bands that play before the headliner bands get like their volume turned down, or like they don't get all the lights, or they don't get all the stuff. And then the headliner comes on, you're like, wow, this is so much louder and like so much more entertaining. And it's like, it's meant to be that way. Like it's meant to like make them look really good and make everyone else like not as good, because they don't want to like outshine the last guy.
Yeah. It's also like, trying to think of the polite-ish proper way of saying it. It's really small dick energy. Like, is your band really that not good that you've got to turn down the shine on the guy's opening? Like, do you want the showgoers to have a bad time before you? Like, maybe just do a better job across the board with everything.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just stuff like that is just like stuff I don't miss. I mean, there's a lot that I do miss. But it happened, and I'm super stoked it did happen. And like, it's like, you don't want to say glory days, but there's definitely like moments where you're like, fuck, that was fun.
I think that's a really good analogy for just competition in general. I mean, if all of the printers or all the shops out there, you know, did shitty work, then you wouldn't have to do good work, I guess. I mean, you know, like, isn't it supposed to be that, like, wouldn't it be great if you went to that show and the opening band kicked ass, and then you're like, well, shit, we better bring it. It just makes everybody better, instead of the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't remember what it was. This is like a weird analogy. I can't remember where I saw it either. I think I was watching some documentary thing about DMX, and it was saying that DMX was so good at his time. And I think it was like Jay-Z. Oh, I was watching on the Barbershop Show on HBO with LeBron.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And Jay-Z was talking about how he took DMX on tour, and like DMX was like massive at the time. And he said that DMX would come out before him, and like everyone in the crowd was like fucking like barking and like just like insane. And DMX would come out and like the whole place would be on fire. And Jay-Z's like, fuck, why did I bring him on tour? Because now I have to like go above that. Like I'm the headliner. I'm supposed to be like here, but he's like, it was just impossible. He's like, DMX was just so good at what he did. And it's just like, it was just funny to hear that. Cause he was just like, you could tell he was defeated. He was like,
yeah. So his opener was Hard Knock Life for Hard Knock Kids. That song that like has little kids singing. Yeah. So you go from this guy like barking and growling and screaming and just giant energy to It's a Hard Knock Life is your opener. Like
right.
That's a change that's a shift in energy for anybody.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, yeah, like Andy said, I do feel like that's kind of where some of this, and probably for you too, like this industry is very band like.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, we're dealing with bands and everything else, but just like the way that we like have to promote ourselves and like do the craft of like printing to like, that's your good song is like,
yeah,
you're really good at this thing, or, you're making your own merch still, like, and you're still like giving it away or selling it or whatever you're doing. And then trade shows and shit is like going to shows and like hanging out with other bandmates and talking about your shit.
I feel like trade shows are more like fests where you're around hundreds of other people. I've never been to a trade show, but I'm assuming it's more like a festival of printers.
I feel like it's funny nowadays. Like I've been to a shitload of trade shows, but it's like, I feel like they used to be more, well, maybe it's just my own experience. It's like when I used to go in the beginning, it was very, I want to go do the seminars and I want to go like learn and I want to go see everything on the trade show floor and like make sure that at least the first half of my day is like studying new equipment or talking to manufacturers and being like, what's new and whatever. And then the second half of the day is like, okay, like I'll go eat dinner and maybe I'll see if there's somebody outside that like wants to hang out or whatever. And nowadays I feel like it's way more like people are just going to trade shows to like fuck around and hang out with other printers and just like have a good time. Like, yeah, the show is there and you go and you like see vendors, but it's like such a small part of it where, but I feel like that's more maybe my experience, but the show is great. And like, we definitely like see everything, but the whole reason and the gut feeling of wanting to go is because like all my friends that get my life and get my,
that's what I was just going to say,
going to be there.
Is that
we all have the same experiences.
I was going to say, yeah, they get you. And so like most of the time entrepreneurs or shop owners live their lives misunderstood or maybe not understood. You know what I mean? Because for some reason we've chosen this path and I'll tell you what, it's fucking hard, And so you, all of a sudden you're with other people that understand that and they get it and you all have that in common, And so, you can trade stories and things like that. And so you just feel, I don't know, like, you have a bunch of friends, even though they're all from across the world and maybe, you haven't, in fact, like that's what's kind of cool is that you have conversations with a lot of them, whether it's on the phone or just Instagram messages or text messages. You never even met some of these people like in person, and then all of a sudden there they are. And you're like, hey, oh my gosh, holy shit. We're in the same
You're
room.
a lot taller than I thought you were.
Yeah.
Just usually
I definitely don't get that.
Yeah, I know it's great because well, me and Andy were talking in the beginning about how Atlantic City, when this episode comes out, Atlantic City had already happened, but for us, it's next week. Is shit like this. Like for me, Atlantic City, I've gone every year because it's my local, like it's my closest one. It's like a 4-hour drive, but like it's always kind of depressing because Atlantic City is not really like open. Like the boardwalk's not open. It's usually like cold and rainy and whatever. And the show is kind of like, I don't know, it's like half the show, like ISS it in Long Beaches. So it's kind of okay, but it's just, kind of sad. But like I said about people getting together, there's so many people going to this show that normally wouldn't go to this show that are like flying to Atlantic City to go to the show just because people want to hang out. And to me, that's like, I'm so pumped on that. Like Andy.
Let's
like
get
Andy's
this straight though. Yeah, you can't fly to Atlantic City. So that's not true.
You probably got to fly to LaGuardia.
You can fly to Atlantic City. It's just that it's a small airport. And it's probably
I'm flying to Philly, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're flying to Philly. Watch out! You're going to get carjacked or whatever." I'm like, I'm.
You live in St. Louis, yeah.
I live in St. Louis. Like, hold my beer. It's good. So I don't know.
Well, you're not going to get carjacked because.
Yeah, you will.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm picking Andy up in Philly on my way.
Yeah, it'll be your car get lost.
I would love to see someone come up and try to carjack me. Be like, it takes me a minute to get out of this car. Right. Give me a second. But yeah, trade shows are super fun. You should go sometime. You should definitely go to Long Beach if you can. That's like the one I would say to go to if you can go.
That's in January as well, right?
January, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
or
that's
go
the one.
go to Print United this year in October in Vegas.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can come hang out with us. I've never been to Vegas. Andy, have you been to Vegas before?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Is it on the strip?
I don't know. I'm assuming.
I don't know either.
Also, Stoked on is like on the strip, isn't he?
I doubt he's like on the strip on the strip.
Yeah, but we talked about it in the show. I think he's like either like just off of it or something.
Yeah, so you walk into Stoked and it's just a casino, and then in the back he has printing. Yeah,
right. He knows what's
He's
up.
got slot machines out front and with T-shirts hanging behind him, just ready to go.
Right. People are trading 50 shirts.
Yeah, yeah. That's my shining achievement in screen printing is that I traded 50 shirts for a van forever. So
tell us, start from the beginning. Tell us how you got started and your story, I guess.
All right. So I got started I've always been around printed T-shirts, I've friends in screen printing, blah, blah, blah. Always wanted to get into it, but I was the bartender and the promoter. So just never happened until it happened. I was working at a bar, pretty good at saving money. One of my friends needed hoodies for tour. And the merch guy was like, "Hey, Eric's got money. Like maybe he'll like pay for them and we could pay him back after tour." Yeah, sure. No problem. You're my friends. It'll be great. Printed 100 hoodies for him. And
you printed 100 hoodies for him?
No. I paid one of my friends to print them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't just like, oh yeah, I'll go figure this out. And
that's why I was like, wow, fuck, dude, your first job was 100 hoodies?
No. So did that. And the show was on the 18th, and on the 17th, some stuff happened at the bar that I worked at, and the entire staff quit because the owner did some nefarious things on the internet, got mad, rightfully so. And we all quit. So I didn't have a job, and I'd already paid for these 100 hoodies. The guy that I had print them, friend of mine, we were talking when I picked him up. I paid him for him still. And he was talking, like thinking about shutting down his like basement operation. I mean, it was out of his house, but still a basement operation essentially. And I was like, well, I don't have a job, and I've always wanted to be in this industry. So like, you want to partner or help? And he said yes. And we started working together. I told him my goal was like, I've got a large social network, bartending 10 years, blah, 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 friends with all the bars and restaurants and bands, all this stuff. Yeah. Like immediately, like I had clients. I also because I quit my job for noble reasons for whatever. There was also some community support, like he's doing a new thing. Let's help him out and send him business. I ran a Black Friday sale, 25 t-shirts, one color, white on black for $100. And we got, I want to say it was like 35 or 40 orders that weekend. And we had 4 color, 1 station set up with a terrible dryer. So that immediately broke my partner, Ryan. We got another 4 color, 1 station. I don't know why we decided.
Yeah, but did you guys make money on that sale?
Yeah. Cause at the time it was like the basement we were renting to print in was $200 a month. The electric bill was almost nothing. We made plenty of money, but it was just like so much, so fat. He was used to doing, I think he said he was doing like 4 or 5 orders a week, to having like 30 orders in a weekend it was kind of crushing. And also like I knew what a squeegee was. I understood the process, but I'd never done it before. So we went from, just a decent basement operation to, oh shit, we need like real equipment, not this like $100 flash and old big, but
doing a fuckload of 1 color prints is an awesome way to get your feet wet.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. We're no longer partners.
And we're no longer partners.
Yeah. It took 7 months for me to go, oh, we're not supposed to work together. Like, I want to get things done as fast as possible. Like, if you give me the order and I've got nothing to do right now, I want to do it right now and get it to you tomorrow. And he wants to wait 2 weeks to start things. He
procrastinator.
Yeah, he's a procrastinator. Like he was screen printing so he could not have a job and just like hang out and go to shows and just prolong not being an adult. I got into screen printing because I didn't want to have a boss. I didn't want anybody else's
you just wanted to
life.
Make your own way.
Yeah, I didn't want anybody else's life to affect my life. Because the bar it was a traumatic ending at this bar. Because it was my whole life. So
that
happened. So. Yeah, and we set this BBC dryer on fire like 3 or 4 times. Like it was, we moved to a little bit bigger space. And I had an order from a bigger whiskey company because I managed a pretty like a nationally recognized bourbon bar at the time. So I had ins with whiskey companies and all of these like real professionals. They didn't know I was doing it in a basement, but they had faith in me. And it was a 750 piece order, 2 color left chest. And it was like a vintage hit.
Perfect.
700, perfect, but 750 pieces in a basement on a 1 station 4 color still kind of sucks. He put it off for almost 3 months.
Dang.
And I was like, hey man, like I can't be partners with you. I'm going to do this on my own. So I had a friend up the street who had an auto, or he has an auto. And he got the job done in, like, I dropped the shirts off at like 10 or 11 in the morning.
Like a couple hours.
Yeah. He called me at 3 o'clock and he's like, hey man, it's done. And I was like, no, that's not possible. That's not how this works. Cause I'd never seen an auto run before dropping those off. I didn't realize how fast it was. He was like, oh yeah, we got them done like an hour ago. And I was just, what the fuck? How is this even possible?
Especially 2-hit vintage.
Yeah, exactly. I think he said he got it done in like an hour and 20 minutes. Like the stroke's 4 inches. Like there's no flash. Like it was so
4-second dwell.
Yeah. I think he had the dwell time just all the way turned off. Just
basically squeegee speed.
Yeah. As fast as it could go.
And one of the greatest things about that too is that after that job, you can do another one. Like you're not tired of it.
Not at all.
I mean, like compared to a manual anyway, you know what I mean? You're ready to go for the next job.
It's such a funny feeling because I've been in that exact situation where there was a local shop. They're not around anymore, but same thing. They had like 1,000 shirts or whatever. And they were like, hey, we can't do this. Can you do it? I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. Bring it by. And I think it was just like a slower day. And they thought it was going to be regular turnaround and they dropped it off. And I think they dropped it off at like 8 or 9 in the morning. And at lunch I called and I was like, hey, your shirts are done. And they were like, fucking, their heads like blew off, like
exploded.
Because they were a manual shop. And they were just like, there's no fucking way. Like how? And I was just like, I don't know. We just put it on press and printed it. Like, sorry, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, manual printers have no idea how wonderful the life of having an auto is.
So anyway, you got into business with this guy. It didn't work out because he was.
It didn't work out. We didn't talk we just started talking again. It's been almost 4 years. We just started talking again like 3 months ago because he's still in bands touring. And I print for his bandmates record label and one of his bandmates merch. And he refused to print with us because ego, pride, whatever. And finally his bandmate was like, hey man, like I'm tired of like one of my band's stuff being awesome and the other being like not as awesome. And he's like, you have no reason to not talk to him. Like I did everything I could to help the guy. Like when we split up, I let him stay in the space that was actually mine. Like did everything I could for the guy, helped him move his equipment out and into his actual basement of his house. Like everything seemed like it was going to be cool. Like he was like, if you've got a bigger job, I'll come help you out, blah, blah, blah. And then like, once we got everything like buttoned up, like I got all my clients, he got all his clients, everything worked out. He just never talked to me again. And like, we go to the same shows. I'm a fan of his band. He would just like walk by me for 3 years and just like pretend like I didn't exist. But that's over now. Water under the bridge. We're friends. It's fine. He's a fucking weird dude. So it's not, nobody was surprised at this except for me. So I start working with Shane because I don't have any equipment and I've got a long line of customers. I didn't know what contract printing was. So I essentially was contract printing and then like trying to figure out what I was going to do because the other guy I was going to partner that asked me, like he wanted to be my partner because he had print experience. He's on tour all the time.
At this point, you're taking orders and you're farming it all out to your buddy who has the auto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I didn't want to stop.
I kind of want to step back real quick and just get your take on this is from being in a place beforehand that you had connections like with the bands or the local market or the restaurants, all that stuff. How were you approaching that? How were you hitting up those clients where you're just like, hey, remember me? Do you need some work done? Or did you have a certain way of going about it?
I posted on Facebook and said, hey guys, I'm making t-shirts now. When I started with him and it's a pretty small town. So, word traveled pretty fast
in
Louisville, small town, pretty tight knit community. I didn't really have to do a ton. Started an Instagram and literally posted every single shirt we made, which I didn't think anything of it. It kind of bummed out some of the local printers that are now my friends, like water under the bridge. But they didn't understand why I was like flaunting all the clients. And I was like, what's the big deal? And they're like, well, someone's going to steal your clients. Like there's 3 small size shops that are, independent, not corporate in Louisville. And then there's probably 10 like bigger corporate, like sweater vest owner style, print shops. And I just was never scared of someone taking my clients because they were all my friends. Like I'd worked with them or like, I've served them drinks for 10 years. Like I had zero worries at all of losing a client because someone else offered them 25 cents off a shirt. Like,
I don't know.
Zero worry at all.
I don't know if that's as much of a thing anymore, but I do remember those days. Like
Yeah.
I remember MySpace days, and especially when I worked at another company, was some of the sales techniques. Then it's not really a technique; it's just you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Was you would just go on another printer's MySpace page and just go to their friends list and just be like, brr, like,
Yeah.
because back then with MySpace, it was the Wild West. Like it was.
Yeah. It was.
You could literally get a bot and just be like, collect this group of friends or these group of people, and then you just had a script and you would just be like send, and you could do like I think you could do like 100 or 140 messages a day without MySpace being like, hey, this seems spammy, stop.
I definitely got shut down on MySpace.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that like back then when I first started, that I didn't know any better, and it was just like that's how I got a lot of business. Was I was just like, hey, we print t-shirts, or, you know, we back then it was buttons, but I was like, hey, we make 1-inch buttons. We do stickers and t-shirts. If you need shirts, blah, 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 like this whole script, whatever. But you could just like hit send and you'd be like, you could literally, what I would do is I had my computer on one side. I had my TV behind me on my swivel chair, and I would like collect the group that I wanted to send to, hit send, swivel my chair around, and play Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was back then.
I promoted shows during MySpace, and I would make 4 flyers for every show that way. And I would comment on people's walls, and I would rotate through the 4. So everyone would like see it and go, oh, that's a different show. No, Eric's an asshole. It's the same show, just a different flyer. But I had great attendance because everybody knew about it because I have a big mouth and didn't shut up until the show was over.
Right.
I think posting clients on your, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or your website, it's not a flex. I think that it's more of, I guess, giving you credibility and giving you the sort of credibility of, and I think a lot of big companies do this too, you know, like giant companies will say, you know, we do work for, you know, whatever or whoever. And I think that, I think at times, you know, sometimes I'll see something on Instagram in our story or something, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, well, you know, another printer just saw that we print for them, and they may contact that account, but, and there's a chance, I suppose, that certain clients of ours would leave for, you know, to save 50 cents. I mean, but then
are those the clients you want though?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like,
I don't care.
I feel like what I was saying is that back then it was the same thing. Like it wasn't always hitting up other printers. Like that wasn't really a huge thing, but I'm just saying like you could go to a band, like back then it was like, I don't know, bands like Amir or some shit like that, where you would just go to like, you would go to their page and they were usually their actual friends were almost always bands. Like you wouldn't go to who follows them. You would go to who they follow and like collect all them. But like back then you were naive enough to think like, oh, I could just grasp anybody. Yeah. Like I could get anybody on this list. But the truth of it is, like Andy said, is it's kind of like you or I or whoever could promote that we're printing for this person, because I feel comfortable enough knowing that we do a good enough job and we do good enough customer service that's why that company comes to us, not necessarily because someone else just hit them up and said, hey, I print t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like when you do that spamming, trying to get other people's clients, I feel like you're getting the shit jobs anyway. Like you're getting low hanging fruit. You're getting people that are like, oh, I'm willing to bail from this other person. If they're willing to bail, 25 cents less.
And if they're willing to bail from whoever you just stole it from, they're going to bail from you too. So it's the wrong client. And I have, and there's a certain amount of loyalty and just ease that customers and also I guess maybe just human beings have, you know, so like I'm sure you are too. We're solicited here all the time for various things, right? Like credit card processing or whatever.
Or digitizing.
Jesus.
But if somebody calls here or even walks in our front door and they're like, hey, Andy, you know, what are you paying for your credit card processing fees? And it just doesn't even matter if they're going to save me 0.2% or 0.1%. Why? Because I know who that is. I know who that credit card processor is. I trust them. I get my money, the next day. And there's a certain amount of loyalty, and maybe credit card processing isn't a great example because you don't have this, you don't have this like great relationship with your credit card processor.
No.
But there it is. Okay, I found one. So emulsion. I just had somebody call on me, and they were in town. I'm like, hey, I'm going to stop by. I'm with X emulsion company, and I want to just chit chat. I'm like, cool. I'll talk to him because he's around, and maybe there's a different product or something that I can learn from. Well, he comes in and we talked for a minute. And it doesn't matter if he's going to say, hey, you know what? I'll sell you. What are you paying for your emulsion? Okay, cool. I'll beat that by $5 a gallon. It just doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's sort of the same thing can be said for our industry or for screen printing, I think.
Yeah. I also look at social media more as like a gallery of work. And also like, hey, I'm still here. Just like a nagging, like, hey, I'm still doing this thing. Just a reminder in case anybody's talking about it kind of thing. There's been a couple like tattooers that I really liked that I have reached out and been like, hey, you should make a shirt. I would like to print your art on a t-shirt. But I've never like really done the like cold call, like, I never had a script to like copy paste to different businesses and DMs or whatever. I just already had through bartending, just already had like a pretty solid network of people that I just kind of announced, hey, I'm doing this thing now, not doing that thing anymore.
It's hard. It's hard because you definitely can get business that way. Like,
yeah.
And I do it every so often, and I don't do it as much anymore. And we've talked about it on this show a couple times, but like, I still firmly believe in the Dream 100 method of like getting big, good clients that you want. It's kind of like, just like the subtle pokes of like, hey, I follow you. I do this poke here on Instagram. And then you might not get anything, or you might find an address or a phone number or whatever. And then you're like, hey, I'll send you a box of stuff with like a handwritten note in it. And then they see that, and then they might look at it and be like, fuck, like I know here, just like Andy said, some guy might walk in for emulsion and it's like, he's like, hey, I give you for $5 less or whatever. But then he gives you some tips and tricks that like you didn't know about emulsion or whatever. He's like, oh, did you know that you can do this? And then you kind of make a relationship. He's a nice dude. He's like, hey, I fully understand that you're working with this other company. I get it. It's cool. Have a nice day. Shake your hand and leave. But then what if like a week later you get a box of like tools that have to do with the darkroom, like cheap stuff, but like it could be like a loop and a stainless steel spatula to like mix ink in. And what if you got those two things and a handwritten note from that guy being like, hey, thanks for letting me stop by. It was real fun to meet you. You have a real rad shop. Call me if you ever need anything. So then again, that solidifies in your mind, like that dude is like a good dude. He gave me this cool shit that I'm definitely going to use. It's not like throwaway stuff. It's not like he sent me like an emulsion hat and it's like, I don't fucking give a shit about this. Like, it's actually stuff I can use. And then again, maybe like the next ping is a month later or 2 months later, you get a phone call, or he's driving through town and he's like, hey, just stop by, man. Just seeing, if anything happened. That like third touch is like what gets you. Is just like, fuck, this guy like is just a good dude and wants to like actually help me out and work with me, not necessarily just try to sell me a product.
Yeah, but I think that only works if you are unhappy with your current emulsion supplier.
It could be, but it could be anything. It could be like the guy that you normally get emulsions out of stock or whatever. I'm not saying that dude is going to get that sale right then and there on the third touch. It just solidifies that person in your mind for the next time you need that product.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's the long game. So like there's people that I've done this for like 3 years ago, and now they hit me up and they're like, hey, our old printer actually shit the bed or like committed a felony. Like we're looking for a new printer and you were top on our list.
Yeah. I mean, I guess isn't that crazy how, what you're suggesting almost is that we're only as good as our last print or something, because if you're pretty much, I mean, like if you have a client you've been printing for years, let's say once every few months for years, and you've done, I don't know, 40 jobs for them, and then you goof on one, I think you're still
That's
okay.
the one they remember.
They remember it. They for sure do. And I think you're still okay. It's not like, as long as you make it right, you're still okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got that.
But that's life though. I feel like that's with anything. And this is going to be a horrible fucking analogy, but it's something like Kevin Spacey or whatever. It's like he has this whole life of like amazing movies and all this stuff. And then he did that one creepy thing. And it's like,
there's a couple creepy things.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? It's like, I'm just saying that is like burned in everyone's mind from now on. Like that's Kevin Spacey. It's like nobody ever thinks of like all this amazing work. They think of this one thing that happened. And not to say like us fucking up a print job is like the same equivalent, but it is kind of like that rotten thing that happened to them in their mind of like getting shit shirts or like the wrong print or something got messed up. Yeah, it depends on what it is. Like if you give them something shitty and then you come back with shitty customer service, that's what kills it. But if you're Andy and you fuck something up and he's just like 100%, I'm going to reprint it and give it back to you, then they're like, okay, cool. Like shit happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just saying like shit happens to every printer, and even if you're good or bad or whatever printer, sometimes just like everything comes together that's just like a nightmare. Like the job might, you might actually mess up the job on accident, and then UPS delivers that job late. That's like a double whammy right there.
Yeah.
Like they got the shirts late and they're wrong. They're going to be like, fuck this. It's not worth it. I'm going to somebody else. Like shit like that happens all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to steal people from other printers because I don't at all do that anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that like you might not think of who's printing that job at all. You just know that like, this client is somebody I would really like to work with. I just want to put my feelers out there. And then you get in their mind so that like, if that other guy or printer, or whoever is doing their work now fucks up, I'm next in line on their list.
Yeah.
Of like, this is who.
Or if their shop closes.
Right. Every business who's somewhat like been around has a printer. That's the fact of it, is like, if they need merch, they already have somebody that they've worked with. So like, we're not stealing people as much as we like to think about it. Unless we're getting brand new companies all the time, we're taking merch from somebody else.
Yeah. Did I tell that Einstein story a couple episodes ago? I can't remember, where I saw it on somebody's social media, where Albert Einstein's at a lecture and he goes up to the chalkboard and he starts writing out some equations. Did I ever tell this?
Oh yeah. I think a couple episodes you did.
Did I?
Something about like, he did like 9 math equations right, and then the 10th one wrong.
Okay.
And that's all that anybody noticed. Exactly. Or maybe it was 99. He was like 1 times 9 is 9, 2 times 9. He just went down the list, and then he like deliberately got one of them wrong. He's like 9 times 9, and he was like, it's 80. And then, they raised their hand and it was like, hey, Mr. Einstein, you did that wrong. Instead of all the other ones, he did right, and nobody said anything about it. And that's sort of like what happens. You know how some places have tip jars or thank yous, or actually it was just the other day. I get the mail every day. So I go out and grab the mail from the mailbox, and I grabbed it and I started walking in, and there was a card in there, and I could tell it was it was a special card. It wasn't like a bill or it wasn't a check from a customer or anything like that. And so I was like, okay. And it was addressed to Rachel. And Rachel's our embroidery manager. And so I walked over and I was like, ooh, you got something special here. And so she opens it up, and it was a gift card to Starbucks. And it was a customer that said, thank you. And so isn't that cool that you do something right and somebody acknowledges that, thank you. You helped us out on an order. Yeah.
You did something good. Instead of like, oh, hey, you suck, you were late, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like that. So many people never say anything when you do something good, and then they wait for that when you fuck up, and
exactly.
So I don't know. I want to be more of the person that says thank you. I should do that more.
It's the same with like social media and like YouTube and all this other stuff. You watch a YouTube video, and it's like, or it could be a shirt show video, and it says you got this many plays, like this many people watch this video, and then there's like 19 people that hit the like button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like any video I watch that I like I go from start to finish, or like any video that I like learn something from, or I think is funny, or I chuckled, I almost always hit the thumbs up, just because it's like, thank you for making this. Like
I exactly. So on Instagram, if I ever watch a video or see a post, like I always like it. In fact, I'll even sometimes comment. But I noticed it wasn't until we were doing this podcast that I ever really liked anything on YouTube. I just never really did. I just watched YouTube videos and then I would watch the next one until now. I know the feeling of, you know, like you just said, there's hundreds of people that watch our episode on YouTube, but only like 15 or 20 actually like it. And sort of the same goes for.
I mean, they could have easily watched the whole thing and been like, "Oh, I feel sick to my stomach. This was an awful video. I don't want to watch it anymore."
Well, that's very
which is
true.
probably the case.
Which is a good thing. There's no thumbs down anymore.
Yeah. Hold on one second for me.
Hold on. Is he talking to heavens? I don't know. He was looking up as if he was talking to God.
Not talking to us anymore.
Right.
I'm here. Sorry. I turned the heater on in my office this morning because my mom comes in and cleans. She like shuts all the heaters off. And like I've had the door shut. It's probably 120 degrees in here.
And you're wearing a sweatshirt.
And I'm wearing a hoodie. And
is that Tia?
It might no. And my daughter just got here, and Lindsay, and I asked her, I was like, "Can you please shut that heater off for me?" Because I'm like, I feel like my blood vessels in my head like pulsating, and I shut my door and turn that on. I do not have a app for that.
Well, you should get one, because what's really great about that is I can either remotely, control the temperature in the shop, or also set it to a schedule. So let's say I want the heat to turn on at 6 a.m. or whatever.
Cool story, bro.
Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll be back.
See ya.
So I had a guy print 500 shirts for me.
Yeah.
So I've been friends with the guy who had the auto for a while. His band played at my bar, or the bar I managed, not my bar. And he only had 2 employees, and he has 2 autos and 2 manuals. And one of them quit. And I was
employees.
Him and 2 guys.
And they had 2 autos and 2 manuals.
Yeah. He's a maniac and also a genius. And he had the best quality in town, hands down. Like, he's the only guy in town that I know of that could do simulated process. They could do anything more than like 5 or 6 colors. And like my whole goal in this industry was, I want to make cool stuff, and I want to make stuff that like, I don't want to make a shirt that ends up at Goodwill, like that gets worn once. And I don't want to see stuff we printed at a thrift store. Like feels like a bummer. I know it's happened already. It's going to happen.
I have a side note on that real quick. There is a thrift store. I think it's more like a vintage shop or something. So it makes me feel a little bit better. There's like a vintage thrift store shop in Owego, which is probably like, I don't know, whatever, half hour, 45 minutes from here, that I get texts every so often from somebody going in that store and seeing like one of our original Upstate merch tees. It's got like an eagle on it with like a holding the squeegee or whatever. It's like hanging in there for sale. And people always send me pictures. They're like, "Oh, I saw your shirt at this thrift store or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever." It's still there. Like, it's like $5 and it's been like years. It's still there.
That's even more of a kick in the dick.
Oh, that hurts.
That's what I'm saying. You're like, "Oh, I don't want to see something at a thrift store." How about you see something there for like 5 years and it's $5 and it's still there?
Nobody buys it. Oh,
like, I feel obligated that I need to go buy the fucking thing just to get it out of there. Because every time I get this text message, it like crushes my soul a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, that hurts. So instead of buying more equipment and like doing it and becoming this guy's competition, I just started working for him. And so we operate 2 screen printing businesses under one roof. And now we've got 5 people working there. And
this is
really
what's going
awesome.
on right now.
Right now. Yeah. I've only been in this industry for 4 years grand total. So, I just saw like, why be competition with this guy? Like, he's awesome. He's got great equipment. He knows, he's been doing it for 30 years. Like, why would I be his competition and not do as good a work? I mean, eventually I could do as good as work if I wanted to, but what's the point in being someone's competition when
the good
we
point
can just
is,
work together?
Like, right. Like you said, this guy's been doing it this long and you're kind of getting in and you're like helping the company at some point he's going to want to stop and you're going to want to keep going.
Yeah. So we talk about that, not like every day or anything, but it happens after a couple of beers. He wants to move to Portugal and just do separations. And one day I think that'll actually happen where I just come in the office and there's a stack of separations printed out and ready to go. And he's just sitting on a beach drinking Miller Lite.
So you're just kind of doing the sales and getting everything ready and he's doing all the printing, or are you doing the whole package?
I honestly, when it first started, I was contracting with him and I was just hanging out, catching shirts, pulling shirts. And I noticed that the thing he said, like, every 2 days, fuck, I can't get this job done. I don't have enough screens. And I was like, well, why don't you show me how to do screens? It couldn't be that bad. Whew, was I wrong? So I did all of his screens and just slowly but surely did more and more in the shop. I still, to this day, do all of not all of the screens. We've got like a decent share of that work, but that's kind of how I got started there. It was just slowly but surely seeing what he needed to do instead of, I don't want to just do sales. Like I mean, it's cool. Like, money's cool. Talking to people's cool, but like, I like working. I don't like sitting still. So I just did more and more with him, and we've been doing this together for 3 years now, and it's been awesome. Sometimes it's kind of weird when like we have mutual friends. So sometimes one of his clients will hit me up and I'll have to be like, hey, like, just go through Shane. Like I'm going to do it with him. Like, we do it together. So just keep going through him. There's no sense in, you're not going to get a better price. You're not going to get better quality. It's going to be the exact same thing either way. We are trying to figure out a way to like merge without merging to where that's less of a thing, but it only happens like once every 6 months, if that. So it's not really an issue.
So how does this work now then? Like, you're trying to get clients for both companies, or you're just trying to get clients for your company and then he's doing his own thing? He's just doing the printing for you.
He hates the internet. He hates social media. He hates selling. Like, he doesn't hate selling because he has to sell, but he doesn't like doing that stuff. And I'm pretty decent at it. So I basically handle all the sales. He handles all his clients that he's had for 20 years, 25 years, whatever. And anybody that comes through his inbox, but he's not going after new clients. He's not pushing anything. So I handle that side of things. I'm his employee and he's my employee, basically. So we're partners, but like, in the sense that if I today was like, fuck this, I never want to touch another t-shirt again for the rest of my life, I can walk away and there's no like paperwork to file. There's nothing either one of us have to do other than walk away. And it's like, at first it was like a really weird situation. Like, it was weird. Just like, because I was printing them and then I wasn't printing them. And that was like a weird transition for me. And like, I work on the auto and I print and I do it now, but originally when we started, it was like a weird transition period. I didn't know contract printing was like a thing. So I had this like weird identity crisis in the industry of, what am I doing? Why I should just shut down Full Bleed and just be his employee. And then I found out contract printing is a thing, and there's so many.
It legitimized what you were trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. And even more so because I'm on paper, Full Bleed is a contract print shop, or a contracted, whatever. I contract people to print the stuff.
Yes.
But I'm still physically in there, like doing the screen, the only thing I don't set up the auto because I'm terrified of it.
So essentially you don't have employees, right? So that's on him.
No, that's on him. Yeah. Which is awesome for me. And it's awesome for him too, because that helps him with, it doesn't actually help him at all. No, he's
it sounds like he's taking all the risk and you're taking all the,
kind of. But the thing is his overhead is so low that he doesn't need to grow. He doesn't need to, he's very, very comfortable. We're all very comfortable where we're at. And none of us are like, oh no, we've got to grow 20% or do any kind of anything like that. Just whatever comes in, whatever we get.
I think that you are thinking of it in kind of like a weird way when in reality you are playing to your strong suits and he's playing to his strong suits.
Absolutely.
And I have a couple relationships that we do that here with, where there's people that are just really good at art and sales, but they don't know much about printing. They don't, you know, and we've worked together for years and years, and it's just a perfect relationship because they know that their strong suit is the art in the sale, not the rest of it. And they know that like, we're going to do what we say we're going to do. And cause I'm like I very much think that like someone's word is like all they have. So like, if I tell them that that's what I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do. Like if I say that, you know, they say, oh, we'll only give you this job if it's here by this date. Like I'm going to pay whatever it costs. Like if I fuck up and I don't get it out when I need to get it out, I'm not going to call them and be like, sorry, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm going to spend the like $300, $400 to overnight it to get it there. And I'm just going to eat that cost because I said it was going to get there by that day.
Exactly. The point I was going to make here is that I don't think that he is taking all the risk. I think that Eric's taking a lot of risk too, because, you know, he's dealing with the customer, and just like you said, if the customer is upset or if a shipment doesn't make it there on time or whatever, well, then that's on Eric, you know, not on.
He never, he never has to have that phone call of someone upset about whatever they're upset about.
It's good on both sides because he likes that he doesn't have to deal with that. And he likes the fact that he's getting paid to manufacture, and that's what he wants to do. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's beneficial for both of you. It's not like
it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Now I'm very, very happy with how it all is. I'm very comfortable with it. But when it first started happening, like the first year or so, it was a weird time. But now it's great. Like one of the last two hires we got, I got her in the shop and she's turning out wonderful. The other guy, our most recent hire, hit both of us up to work for both of, like trying to get a job with both of us.
Not realizing that it was
And I literally was like, yo, dude, like we met 45 minutes ago. Like we've already talked.
Right.
Shane and I are one and the same, which was awesome. Cause those were the two shops that he, like when he left his last job, those were the two shops that he wanted to work at. Like he knew, like he plays in bands, like he knew of both of us, and our quality. He didn't realize we were the same thing. So it was kind of like, it was a dream come true for us because he's a brilliant auto printer, like does such an attention to detail, like the dream come true employee for a screen printing shop. And he wanted to work with both of us and he didn't have to choose, which is kind of awesome.
back to posting everything on Instagram, like a lot of your work on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you were in kindergarten or whatever grade it was, when you took naps and you had the blankie that you roll out and then you sleep on that? Those are great times, right?
Yeah.
And what I noticed is that every single time you post a pic, for one, I always know it's you because it's the same background.
It's like that macrame shit or whatever, isn't it?
But I was going to say, isn't that a blanket that you can take naps on?
It's like a woven. It's a woven rug. Like
it's like those things that are in school. You used to get the little square and you would make the pot holder.
No, not like. I mean, I guess kind of. Yeah, it's honestly, it was like my office. It was kind of it was underneath the coffee table couch area. We had two of them in there, and I was like, "Oh, that's like a colorful, bright, like distinctive thing." And I posted the first picture with it, and was like, "Oh, I should just do that for everything because like it's not like it's not a concrete background. It's not like a wood background or whatever. It's not a hanger on the wall. Like that was another thing consciously. I would only send. There were certain clients that I would only send them pictures if it was on that rug because I wanted people to know like we did that. Yeah. Just to get us out there more and more.
Well, that's branding. Like that's perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
Branding, because I always know whenever I see that, I don't have to look at the name of who posted that. I don't have to look
at all.
And sure, the t-shirt, like the graphics, I guess, are sort of your style, but not always.
Anybody can do it.
There's so many people that, well, I should say a small number of people, and we just got done talking about this a little bit with Golden Press. Is it's like there's some people that just do it right, that stand out, that take the time to showcase their work in a different, cool way.
Yeah.
Like you doing it on that rug is a cool way that's yours. And like you said, you consciously now try to do it on that rug so that it stands out and people know it's you. But there's other people, like I said, like Golden Press, where they'll like take a photo of a print they did, but then they're like, okay, the theme of this design is like sailors. So like, let's get like an old whiskey jug or like, you know, some fishing thing or like this other thing. And they like lay it out and like take a picture in like a dingy corner. So it looks like it's like,
they do like a whole lookbook. Like,
right. I'm just saying like, it looks rad. Cause it's like, this is such a good way to present this because then the end client who is going to look at these things, hopefully like the problem is too, with all of us and like being present in the industry is like a lot of people will follow us or other printers. But in reality, we want to show it to the client who's like, oh, that's super cool. Like, I want to work with them. But when they see stuff like that, they're like, wow, like the attention to detail that they put into this photo or this product shot shows that they're proud of the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like you said, just putting it on a hanger, putting it on a wall. I mean, like, here's another photo.
Two things to that is that you're right. A lot of our followers are other shops, but a lot of people go to our Instagram to decide that they're going to come here.
For sure.
Because they're like, okay, well, this is their portfolio. They look great. I'm going to go to ShirtCon and buy my shirts, even though they maybe don't follow us. And so I still think it's very effective. And the second thing I was going to say is the Golden Boys, our Golden Press Studio, does a fantastic job of their Instagram, and it's genius, and they do a very, very good job, because last time I think it came off as like I was saying that they weren't very good.
You're backtracking so hard right now.
So here I'm trying to save face here and say that I probably didn't do a very good job of describing.
Which is funny too, because during that episode, you took the blame for saying that you think you insulted them by saying they look polished, but I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said they were polished.
Well, I'll take the fall. That's fine. But the point I was trying to make is that I think in the day and age of TikTok and of Instagram story and making videos and taking pictures from your phone, that anybody can do it. And our phones are pretty fucking good cameras on there. And so don't be like intimidated by, or don't think that you have to go purchase a $3,000 camera or anything. Like it's all accomplished on the phone. Because why? Because that's real and that's authentic. And it's also important if you do have the talent to make a polished photo and a polished video. The thing I think that always has to be good is that if you do have a video, that I think the audio, I think that should be good, because people will forgive, a poor quality video as long as the audio sounds good. But they won't forgive like terrible audio. You're like, I can't hear what you're saying or whatever. I'm going to check out. So I think it's maybe a mix. I think it's a balance. I think it's important to be authentic and be true to your, come across as being organic and sort of raw at times, but also if you've got that talent, then go ahead and tap into it and show some polished stuff, because then you appeal. People get that too. And so I just think the point I was trying to make back on that last episode is that there's a balance. That's all. And they do a really good job of that.
Yeah. That's exactly why I turn the audio off on all of our videos, because nobody wants to hear the compressor in the background or the humming of the belt or whatever someone's saying in the background while I'm taking a video. It's really, I don't want whatever curse words are happening in the background or whatever. But also, you're right. The audio matters.
It was funny. We were talking about on Friday before everyone left. Brian was in my office in the doorway, and I was sitting at my desk, and we saw Zach walk by kind of fast, and he was going to Chris's office. And as he walked by, I could see he had one of those cards in his hands, like the "Oops, I fucked up" cards that we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
I had made, and he handed it to Chris, and he felt kind of shitty. I think a screen popped on press or whatever. And he walked back by my office, and Brian was telling him like, "Oh, what happened? You fucked up some shirts or whatever." He's like, "Yeah." And then Brian was saying, he's like, "Oh, because his wife, Kristen, who used to work here, listens to the shows. And she was telling Brian like about that you had said, I didn't think that was very I don't know, whatever, like right of me to say, oops, I fucked up, because my employees might take it the wrong way or whatever. Like, you probably wouldn't do that." And then Zach was like, said exactly what I thought he would say of like, does he know this shop?
Yeah.
So like it's saying, oops, I fucked up. And then what the fuck happened on the back is just like our way of just like saying hello here. Like, yeah. And I've been really wanting to make this video, and I think I'm going to have Bill make it this week if he can. It's just like that, I don't know, like soft music in the background or whatever, and panning to each desk and each person in the shop. But instead of them like waving at the camera, being like, "Oh, this is a great place to work" or whatever, it's just all like just birds all around, like every person, like, yeah, good to see you. That's like literally what we do here. Like anytime I'm sitting at my desk and it shows, like if my door's open, you can see down like everyone walking by. I always give them the bird as they get here.
Okay, fine. Well, I have a story that will be a counterpoint to what you just said. So this earlier last week, we printed an order, and this is a situation where I don't know that we definitely didn't do something right, and we're going to change it how we do it in the future. So have you ever had a left chest and a right chest on a shirt, that somebody wants to print? First of all, kind of weird, but this is what they want, right? They want a left chest and a right chest. So
same screen.
Well, here, hold on. So that's an excellent. That's where we're going to head, because that's what we're going to do in the future. But the reason why we didn't do the same screen is because as you go from size small to size 3X, if you use the same screen, well, then, it's still just right here. Like on a small, you want to put it here. On a 3X, it's going to look weird just right here. You want it to be wide, spread apart. And so in the past, we've done the left chest and then we've printed the right chest, and because of the size run. Well, that's a challenge. It's a challenge because you have to get it to line up, and they have to
That's the worst part. Yeah.
Straight. You have to print it twice. You're not just printing it one time, just like you just said. And so what we did was printed the order, and it turns out that, and this is actually for a contractor, we didn't talk to the end customer, but the end customer wanted the left chest a little higher than they wanted the right chest.
Why?
I don't know.
So fucking stupid.
Why?
But I didn't know this. And so, so I'm trying, what was my point? Oh, my point is that the press operator, so we get this email, and it says, "Hey guys, customers rejecting this shirt." and they have a photo of the actual shirt that we printed, and it's kind of too even. It's too good. It's like too close.
I hate this customer. I hate this customer so much right now. I don't even care.
So I grabbed the press op and I asked, because we just saw one shirt, and I grabbed the press op and I showed him the picture. Hey, were all the shirts like this, or were just like, was it one of them? Do you remember? Because you ran. He goes, fuck. He's like, I asked the designer about that too, because what should we do as the size gets bigger and this kind of thing. He's like, and he felt bad, and because he wants, as a printer, you want to do a good job, and you want the customer to get, you care, you want the customer to like the shirt, and so he felt bad. And so, do you think in this instance I should have given him a fucking card that says, "Oops, I fucked up," to make him feel worse, or? Yeah. And I guess if that's the vibe and that's the energy of the shop, we can joke about it and say, oops, I fucked up. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't think the card necessarily, it's saying, oops, I fucked up on it, is like directed toward the person who's grabbing the card. I think it's just the name of the card. It's just the oops, I fucked up card.
But it's saying what you did. It's saying I made a mistake and then I fucked up. And yes, own the mistake and then fix it. But all I was suggesting is that from time to time, that oops, I fucked up might be, that's more pessimistic, or that's more of a glass is half empty type of attitude. And so instead, I don't know, there's a way to word it.
I understand your side of the story, but
so
all of that aside, I don't give a shit. I want to know how you solve this fucking problem.
Yeah, we're reprinting it.
Also,
how many pieces is it? 75. And do you know this? It was also 4-color, which sucks. But we're gonna. The good news is though, just like you said, we're gonna print it. Instead of printing left chest and right chest, we're gonna print it together. So we got the measurements, and so whenever this sort of thing happens, we get exact measurements. Okay, so if you're gonna be picky, then fine. How many inches down from the collar? Where is it going to be exactly? And so this is what we're going to do. And so we're reprinting it. But what was I going to say? Oh, and this is the kicker. Do you know when you, have you ever goofed an order and the customer says, oh yeah, okay, replace it. Cool. And, I appreciate that. And by the way, as long as you're reprinting this for us,
we want stuff.
Change the fucking shirt. Isn't that the kicker?
That there, instant red flag to me, saying that it had nothing to do with the artwork. It had to do with that they want to change something else, and they have a reason now. Like they have an easy out to get it redone.
Exactly. So by the way, as long as you're doing it instead of what was it? We did it on a 3000, a CVC 3001. Now they're doing on a next level. Isn't it like that?
Fuck that.
Yeah,
like fuck those people.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, it's funny, like shit like that happens all the time. Like you said, like but realistically, how was your printer supposed to know that the left chest was supposed to be higher than the right chest? Was it on a mock-up form? Was it noted that it was supposed to be higher?
On the mock-up, it showed it was slightly higher.
Right, but there was no specific note saying make sure left chest is higher.
Exactly.
Than the right chest.
Right. So, so that was my thing, is like, you know what? On the proof, it did look higher. They're right. Right. I mean, it was minor, like it wasn't very significant.
But it's such a stupid thing to do. Like it's such a thing where in the back of your mind, like if you saw that on press that the left chest was higher than the right chest, you'd immediately in your mind, like half a second, be like, that's wrong. We need to fix this. This is not the way this is supposed to be. Which is funny because like we have protocols here too, where like Brian literally, like our pallets always stay the same on press. We don't ever move them in or out. The artwork is dictated by Brian to go to CTS to burn to screen at a specific inches down. So every shirt that gets pulled and on pressed is just collar over the edge of the pallet. So that way, if the customer asks for it to be 2.76 inches down, Brian's setting the artwork at 2.7 inches down or whatever. And then when it gets to press, that's what it's going to be if he pulls the collar just off the pallet. Well, anyway, there was a job like a week or two ago where I saw Bill was printing and I went out there and they were like 6 inches down on the front. And it was like a circle. And I was like, something's wrong here. Like, this is way too low. Like, this is literally, if a woman wears this, like all tit coverage is going to be over the circle. It's just not going to look good. It looks like a belly print, especially a circle. It's just like a target on someone's belly. And I had Bill, I was like, whoa, stop the job. Like, let's move the collar on the pallet like 2 inches or 3 inches so that this print is, like normal 2-3 inches down or whatever. So we did the whole job that way. Like he printed the whole job. Like I thought maybe something got messed up in translation from Brian to CTS, whatever. I was like, there's no fucking way this is correct. And then like 3 days later, I said something to Brian. I was like, hey, did we like double check? Because every so often we'll go out and double check the pallet, like where it's supposed to be, like this many inches on the pallet arm to make sure that is uniform all the time. I was like, hey, did we double check Bill's press recently? He's like, yeah, we did it the other day and it was totally fine. I was like, there was a print he was doing that was like 6 inches down. He's like, yeah, the customer asked for that. And I was like, dude, I had him fix every single one of those because they were way too low. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like they just looked like shit, but that's what they asked for. So now I'm just waiting for that email to be like, hey, we asked you to print these 6 inches down, and they were all like 2.5 inches down. And it's like, I just want to tell that customer, be like, hey, you're a fucking moron. Like, that's not right. These look stupid.
You should tell
the customer is not right here.
Hey, can you put that shirt on at 6 inches down and send me a picture so I can post it as a poster on the wall?
We get that a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but we get that too, where we'll send out a digital proof, right? And you place it on the shirt, standard placement, and then they'll reply back, oh, could you make it lower? We want it lower because maybe they think it should be lower. And we always have to reply back with, okay, well, our standard placement is this, and we're going to do it differently for you. And then it seems like every time it gets to the press, just like you said, everybody's like, wow, this just doesn't look right. And it isn't right because it's too low, but we do it anyway, knowing that when the customer receives that shirt, it's going to look weird.
I feel like any other placement other than chest print, like back print it's so all over the board. I've seen so many printers doing it where they want the print to be the center of the back, or they want it to be 4 inches down or 6 inches down or whatever. I feel like it's such a all over the place standard on the back that it can be anything you want it to be. I feel like with a left chest, this is where a left chest goes. It's this side of the collar, and it's centered with the arm sleeve. That's where left chest goes. That's a standardized thing. Or if it's a polo, like what button do you put it on, kind of thing, or whatever. But a front chest is one of those where if they ask for like a weird low placement, I immediately call them and I'm like, hey, there are such a thing as tits. Like,
yeah,
this has to be placed in a specific place on the front, or it's going to be very unflattering for a lot of people.
I hope that's exactly what you say.
That is what I say. I say big boob. I'm like, if any of your people wearing these have big boobs, it's not going to look good. I legit say boobs or tits. Like, I'm not ashamed to say human anatomy is going to mess this shirt up.
Have you ever had a customer say, that's what we want? We want to be
I've
right
had
on the
customers
tits
with huge jugs come in here and I'm like, that print's going to look bad on those boobs. Like, I'm just letting you know, like, it needs to be here to like, cause that's what they want to hear. Like, they might be self-conscious of the fact of the size of their boobs or whatever. And it's like that print, if it's too low and it curls under their tits, it's going to look shitty. Like, it's going to not be good.
Half the design's going to disappear.
Right. And it's just like, whatever. I just want to make sure this print looks good on all shapes and sizes.
I think that you should have a part like on your landing page on your website, you should say something like, if you have big tits, here's our recommendation on what, the placement. I think you should put that on your website.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. Okay, cool.
I'm just saying it's important.
So back to Eric.
Speaking of titty prints, Eric, what are you doing?
I actually had a client with a left chest print, and he's the manager, and he was like, hey, this one, like my employee doesn't like that it like is right on her nipple. And he was like, I feel like you printed them too low. And I was like, he's like, it doesn't feel like it's in a standard place. And I was like, well,
she just has really high nipples.
Well, also, like, I was like, can you do me a favor and like measure from the collar down, like get out a ruler, like if we fuck something up, and like he sends me the measurements, it's all right. And I was like, so are mine and your nipples at the same level? Like, are your grandma's nipples at the same as your daughter? Like, there's nipples, not a standard placement, man. I don't.
You probably shouldn't have brought up his daughter's nipples.
Probably not. You're right. But I was just trying to
I feel like that's a place you don't go.
Young titties, old titties aren't in the same place. I may have said young titties, old titties. either way,
Right.
he went, oh, and I just never heard about it again. And he ordered again. And I asked him, I was like, hey, like, where do you want the left chest? Like, get out a tape measure. And he goes, oh, what you did last time was right. I just listened to the wrong person and it was fine. Yeah.
But that's exactly my point. Like, it's funny to talk about, but it's true. Like,
Yeah.
you need to take into account the people that are wearing them. And, you know, the person who's ordering the shirts just might have like an idea in their head or like a way they think it should look. But in reality, they need to be checked by the person who does this all day, every day. And that's our job as customer service. Like if I get people, and both of my, you know, not both, but my salespeople pretty much know to, if somebody gives them a red flag on something, we try to educate them if we can.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I know you think you want it to look this way, but like in reality, it's not going to come out that way. Like, or you might have certain customers that are just like, this is not a great placement, or this is not a great look for this design. It's usually like stupid stuff like circles, or like I said, a front placement. Like we might get a customer that's like, you know, their design is a perfect circle and they're like, I want it to be full oversized. And it's like, because they just have this mentality in their mind of like bigger is better. And I want it to take up more front of the shirt so that people see it more. It's bigger.
It's a billboard.
I'm like, if a person doesn't have like a fit body, like just like a tube body of like whatever, that circle is going to turn into like some weird oval teardrop something because that person's got curves, or, you know, it's on a small, if that person, if in your mind, the ideal scenario is for a fit person wearing a size large to wear that print.
So before we get off of
a
this
small
topic,
or a 2X or huge tits or big belly or whatever, it's not going to be a circle anymore. It's going to be this like deformed looking thing.
Yeah.
Before we get off of this topic, I saw this post yesterday on Rogue Printers group and Facebook. Is from Michael Tiffany Rendazzo. I don't know if you saw this.
I stay on Facebook anymore.
And so, but this is priceless. This is so good. So he says, so when she is dating a screen printer and takes him clothes shopping, and then he has this list, like if we're out and you see a shirt, anytime you go anywhere and you see this shirt, whether it's Target or Disney, like you said, or just doesn't matter. So you see this shirt, here are the things: too patchy, off center, dull, dye migrated, too many pinholes, pretty cool art, but on a Gildan. Love the canvas ring spin, but it's out of alignment. Should have used a thicker mesh for the black. Spun too many times, not cured enough. And then he says, you're about to be wearing a fucking potato sack here in a second if you don't grow up and pick something. Because you sit there. I've done that so many times. Like I've seen a cool shirt. I was like, man, I would buy that, but no way. Like it's on like one of those things, or maybe even like 100 other reasons.
Or multiple things.
Right. What's really hard for me, and I feel like it's the same for you, is like you could tell like you're into art and you're into certain cool shit or whatever. And it's kind of like, for me, there's so many rad brands that like we don't even print for that have like cool shit. Like for me, it's like X-Files, or like a cool, like a cryptid, like a, Mothman or a Sasquatch or something, like a shirt design that I see. I'm like, I would love to wear that shirt. And then you go to their website and you go to buy that shirt, and you read in the description, like printed on 100% cotton, like Gildan tee, or, it might be this other brand or something. And I'm just like, I can't wear that. I know I can't wear that. Like, I wish I was ignorant to be like, oh, nope, buy. I want the shirt. I'm going to get it. But I know for a fact I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And it just sucks because there's so many people like that, where I literally want to hit them up and be like, hey, I'm a screen printer. I promise I'm not going to resell your design. I promise. Can you send me the artwork so I can print my own? Like, I will pay you. I will still buy the shirt. But can you send me the artwork just so I can print it myself? Because I have a weird
wear.
Right. Like I have a weird torso. Like I have a really long torso. Like I have really short legs. So like I need a shirt that's like extra long that like covers my whole body. Like every shirt I buy anywhere is always too short. And I really want to support your company. I really want to wear your design. I need to print myself. Or I will send you a blanket next time you print these shirts. Can you throw it on this? But that is a huge pain in the ass customer that they do not want. And it's never going to happen.
Not at all.
So that's why I just can't wear printed shirts unless someone sends me one and it actually fits.
I just wear shirts we printed.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively. If I buy one from a band, do the little stretch test. Have you guys ever bought a shirt and then had to take it to the shop and run it through the dryer? So
I've had friends that buy shirts at hardcore shows that obviously the band printed them themselves.
Yep.
And they bring them to me and they're like, hey, can I run this through your dryer again? Because they didn't cure it all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Done that more times than I can count.
Yeah, it's something for sure. All right. So we've fucking sidetracked so many times off of your story. I think we're at current times. You're happy with this scenario of like what's going on now?
It's so happy. We've got, so up until, Brent started 4 or 5 months ago and Summer started almost a year ago. Prior to that, it was just me, Shane, and Jared doing everything. So if there was an auto job, the only thing that was getting done was that one auto job because 3 people have to run it unless it was a revolver one. Like it was torture. But we got it done. It was great. All of our customers got their stuff in a pretty timely manner. But now we've got like a dream team of people and nobody's overworked. Everybody's happy. Like this is the ideal situation. I hope it lasts forever. Right now everything's great. We're doing wonderful. Awesome. The first quarter of the year was actually the busiest in my personal history of the company of any quarter. So looking forward to this year being awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, should be awesome.
So I guess I'm still a little confused on, so are you still pushing full bleed? Like
absolutely. Every day.
Your biggest thing. And then, okay. So do you have like an actual like storefront where people can come in, or is it just you on?
I had one. I still have one, but now it's like,
because I saw a picture online that was like, is this dude's living room or is this like a showroom?
No, that's my office. Like with that like super bright coffee table, that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like made out of old broken skateboards.
That's awesome.
The rent was so good over there that I didn't let it go. And then the better things got when I was working with Shane, the more I didn't use that space. So now I have a friend who has a record label, like a small independent label. He runs his distribution out of there. And the area that I was printing shirts, I have a buddy who he's a frame builder, like a bicycle frame builder. So where I used to print shirts, he's now building like custom bike frames. And I still keep the space just because I love it, honestly. Mm-hmm. And now it's like a share. It's like it's almost like a clubhouse for our group of friends. Like we all hang out there, like serendipitous. It worked out. And I do have a show, but honestly, if a customer wants to come in, they just come to the shop and, they're in the production space and I show them whatever they need to show. Right. None of us do any, like nobody's walking off the street and checking any of our stuff out. Pandemic, but also even before that, we didn't really, there's not, how many things do people really have to come in the shop that can't be answered in an email or a phone call other than like touching the shirt if they're super picky on shirt quality or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just try to,
well, there's something I wanted to ask Andy, and because we talked about this a while ago and I started to do one as well, but I haven't used it as much as I want to. And I feel like I want to push it more, is the virtual showroom idea. Are you still doing that, or is that something you do often, or wasn't that an idea that just doesn't get used that often?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
About that? Oh, that was the virtual showroom was an idea that came out of the pandemic, right? Because we wanted to be able to meet with people still remotely, like through a Zoom call, let's just say. And so they could log in to Zoom. We could log into Zoom and we could be face to face, and we could show them a hoodie or a cap or a good, better, best t-shirt, you know, and actually show them without them coming over here and, you know, coming in our shop. That's when this was like a year ago, maybe when it was way more real, right? That's not bad.
I know exactly what you're saying.
When, you know, people were contagious and they didn't want to come to our shop and all that sort of stuff.
People cared a lot more a year ago.
Yeah. We went out to dinner last night, which is so weird. And we actually commented on it that we're at a restaurant, and it was a crowded restaurant. The entire staff and everybody in the restaurant, nobody had masks, and nobody even felt like, I could tell it was just really relaxed. People were having fun, and it felt like for the first time in a long time that it's completely back to normal. 2 years later, you know,
only 2 years. 2 weeks, 2 years. What's the difference?
But so no, we don't
shit anymore.
We do not do that as much, or hardly ever anymore. And
I just think it's a really good idea. And you put that idea in my head, and I kind of set it up we have a room now that's like a showroom. It's kind of more like a small showroom office thing, because I don't get foot traffic. I don't get a bunch of people coming in here. But when I do
you want that though? Do you want foot traffic?
Don't want that. I'm just saying that, like, we do have some really good clients that travel to come here.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if they're going to put the time and effort into traveling here, I want to make sure I have a really good room that's like really well put together with samples and like everything. But I really like the idea of the virtual showroom, because I don't have local people. Like, I have no local clients. They're all over the place. So I'd really like this room to be half if somebody wants to show up, and half like you said, I've got a TV on the wall. I bought like a really high end like webcam and mic and lighting and everything set up to where like, again, I could Zoom call and I could be like, hey, like, check these tees out, check this thing out. And they can make that decision and feel like we put the effort in of meeting up, but they're in California.
I think it's I think it's an extra step. I think it's really good. I think your customer would be really happy about it. And also, it's not a huge investment, and everybody's pretty used to using Zoom at this point, and it's really convenient. I think that
I'm just saying, like, if he still has that office, like, you could easily show that off with
100%
showroom thing.
But that doesn't, I don't know about you, but my clients, when they get picky, they want to touch it. They want to try it on. Mm-hmm. It's like, how does this cotton actually feel? And I can only sell ring spun being better than comb cotton so many times. They've got to come in.
Well, the other side of that is kind of like what we do too, is I'll contact SNS or Broder or whatever and say, this customer is really interested in made in USA tees only. Mm-hmm. Send them a ring spun one, send them a basic one, send them this brand, send them a Bella Canvas made in USA, send them a Bayside, whatever it is. And SNS will be like, okay, cool. Like, one of each to this address sent there. When they get that, I'll be like, okay, you got the samples. Let's get on the Zoom call then.
Oh, and then okay. You're going. Yeah.
We can discuss the whole thing, because to them, it might be, they want to see an actual print. If that's the case, then I'm just going to send them something I have here, like an upstate tee that's printed with either water-based, discharge, plasol, whatever it is. They can have that. But I feel like most of the time they just want to try something on. Yeah. So if I can send them the blank and then get on the Zoom call and be like, well, this is why this collar on this shirt, and I'm holding it up and showing them, saying this one fits better here, or, you know, you like the length of this shirt, and they can actually see them in front of them. I just feel like we don't need to meet up anymore. Like, it is nice if they want to show up and give them a shop tour and all this other stuff, but I feel like most cases you can just like meet up with someone on the internet from anywhere and do the same job.
Just a phone call and an
especially
email.
With gas being like $5 a gallon.
I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find it. But, you know, Sanmar, for example, they have a marketing budget, you know, and so they'll, let's say, based on your sales, there's a certain percentage that they give you every year. We just got ours, and I want to say it was like, it's like almost $4,000, you know, marketing budget. And so what you're saying right there is you can use those funds for sending out a couple of sample shirts. That's
I never thought of that.
Doable. We could do the same thing with SNS too. It's just it's a freight advantage budget. And so it wouldn't really cost you. And like you said, also, you're essentially a salesperson for SNS or a salesperson for Sanmar. Yeah. You are the salesperson. And so if you tell them, hey guys, I need some samples sent to this customer, because potentially they could buy X amount of dollars. And so they're behind you to a certain degree. They'll help with that. And what I really like, one thing I wanted to mention about the Zoom call is what I really like about it is that you can schedule it. So, it's not interrupting your day. So like if you have walk-ins, they just walk in, right? You can schedule an appointment. There's such a thing as that too. But a lot of times they just walk in under their front counter and then you have to deal with that at whatever time they walk in. And I just saw a bunch of shops, some of our friends say, one of them actually made a sign, and he put in front of his shop that says by appointment only, and so locked his doors.
And we had a back and forth discussion in our group about whether that was good or bad.
We did. And I think the conclusion is that it just depends on your shop. It depends on your location of your shop. Are you in a major metro? Do all of your, like for us, half of our business comes from the fact that we're in, St. Louis metro area with 2 million people. And so people can come in and they regularly place pretty big orders here. And so there's big spends just from walk-ins. And so if we were to lock our front door and say, sorry, it's by appointment only. Well, I think some people would probably, sit out in their car and say, shit, I just drove here. That sucks, but cool. And they'll call us and then they'll schedule an appointment. I think other people will put their car in reverse and then go to a different shop.
Those are the people I don't want to deal with, honestly. Like if you can't like be inconvenienced and understand that I'm a human and I don't have all the free time in the world, and you're going to go to someone else because I wasn't available when you were available without telling me to be available. Like it's probably a customer we don't want to deal with. Honestly, let them go up to the next shop and they're probably going to complain about, oh, this is 3 fingers, not 2 fingers or whatever. Like I wanted next level and you gave me Bella Canvas or whatever. Hard pass on those people.
I feel like it is difficult. Like Andy said, is like, if you're in a metro area, I feel like it's very important that you need to have your doors open because a lot of your business is local. But for somebody like me being out in the middle of nowhere, I could easily say by appointment only. But the catch 22 of that is that I am in such a small town that if I shut my doors to the public, then the locals here see that I'm not accessible. Yeah. They're like, well, fuck that guy. Even though it's a small amount of people and they might just want to come in for shirts they need for like a hunting club or something like that, it still feels like I'm not part of the community. I'm just a business trying to take advantage of low real estate. And I'm just like on this road over here. We were trying to determine if our minimum is 25. We were trying to determine if we should move up, if we should move towards 50 and just say, look, okay, our minimum is now 50 because just for that reason, because when we moved to 25, we got rid of a lot of those low dollar and typically more problem, customers. And so it freed up and like space to do more work for the larger accounts. Yeah. And so, but I was standing there, we were looking at our lineup. This was just last week. And we're looking at it and say, okay, so let's look at our lineup real quick. And I looked at the first order I looked at was a box of 30 t-shirts, red t-shirts, white, one color front. And do you know that and I just double checked, our printing costs are $7 each. So 30 times 7, $210. You know how easy it is to print 30 one color shirts on an auto and how long that will take. And actually that was a reorder for somebody that, orders that maybe a couple times a year. So for $210 though, I mean, that's an easy order. And I would hate to, cause that wouldn't qualify, they wouldn't be able to place that order. And so, or they would have to up their quantity to 50, which maybe they would do, or maybe they would say, fuck it. And they would go somewhere else, And so I think it's really hard for us. I think that if we moved to 50, I think we would immediately lose some business. And I don't know the other route.
What's that?
You could still do the 1 color, 2 color prints that are below 50 screen printed, and then anything below 50
sliding
do
scale
super color.
minimum. Oh,
so you're saying, so you're saying instead of just 50 is the minimum, no matter what, you're saying we'll do up to 2 color or 20,
no,
25.
You could have an internal number of like 50 pieces, but to the customer, you could still say 25, but you make the decision once they place that order. If someone comes in and says, I want 25 white ink on red shirts, you're like, oh yeah, definitely screen print, throw that on press, because we could do that in 10 minutes. But if somebody comes in and is like, I want a 6-color front on 25 shirts, you can still take the order, still make the money and profit, whatever you're going to do, but you just order 25 DTF transfers. And then you don't have to worry about sending it up on press.
I guess
whatever.
I
You
think
just
you
have
would have
someone
to-
e-press them.
You would have to set expectations, though. You would have to tell that customer that it's a you know, a DTF, which is it is.
Well, you could have
different.
samples at the front desk. I mean, the stuff looks good.
Mhm.
You could just be like, hey, like
Mhm.
if you're going to get this kind of print on this many pieces, this is the kind of print we're going to do. And they could look at it and feel it, touch it.
I think that's
whatever.
our future. I think that's our future. I think that, or a lot of shops' future. I think that
I agree.
the ability to order a transfer like that, that's really good looking. That's,
I just want the
either-
washability. I want I want it to last. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, just because you only need 25, you're going to get subpar quality.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that the quality is the same across the board. I'm just saying, as far as tool in your toolbox as a print shop, you can be like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to fucking put a 6-color 25 piece on press. If I can give them the same-ish quality, something that's pretty damn good, then I'm going to go this route, because then it saves me from making 6 screens, setting it up on press, fucking it up, wrong placement, whatever. I can just do it as a transfer.
And if they want one more, cool.
Yeah, you order 3 extra transfers
Yeah.
and you have a backlog, just like we do when we do tags. We have extras. So if something happens, we have a couple extras.
Yeah, I just do a sliding scale on the minimums. Like if it's a black ink on, a gray or white or red or whatever, we'll do 12 pieces. No problem. Easy. 25, 1 to 3 colors. If you want 6 to 9 colors, then we need 50 or 60 pieces. And I've had no problem, because I used to be 25 on up to however many colors it was. And I've had no problem with the customers who want the higher color stuff that we work with.
We do that
understanding.
Too. Yeah. We just say that if you're getting 25 pieces, it's 1 to 3 colors or something.
Yeah, exactly. 1 to 3
50
colors.
pieces is 1 to 6, and then 100 pieces is 1 to 12 or whatever. And the truth of it is a lot of time those people that want to order 25 shirts and they have a 6-color print, and we say, hey, on 25 shirts, we only do up to 3 colors. They're usually like, okay, cool. Can we just make it 3 colors then?
Yeah.
They just want the shirts. They don't necessarily care. And if they do care, then we're like, oh, cool. Well, we can do it as a transfer.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool. What's a transfer look like? Will it last? And then we show them or tell them, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. I just need them for this party. You know what I mean? It's not like they need them for forever. They're like, oh, I just want to make cool shirts.
Oh yeah.
This,
a 1-day event.
Yeah. I just want to make shirts for this thing. As long as they look good for that day, whatever.
Hurts
That's
my
what I
soul.
said. For me, it's quality concern. I just want to make sure it's there. I don't want to sell someone dog shit. I don't want to be like, I know you need shirts and you want to pay me, so I'm just going to do these to get you out the door.
Yeah.
I'd rather say no at that point than sacrifice.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any questions for us or shop hacks?
I don't. You guys have had so many good shop hacks. I just want to bring it back to the magic eraser. I don't remember who it was that said it. The magic eraser in the screen room. It's changed my life cleaning screens. I can get the ink out of the registration, the tiny registration marks. I can bring a screen to you almost can't tell that shirts have been printed through it before. And they're ready to go, so that everyone should get magic erasers and use them, unless you've got, the auto reclaim or whatever, then.
I'm really glad you brought this up, because I was watching TikTok a little while ago, and there was a TikTok about a guy, and I sent this to you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a TikTok of a guy who said, don't buy magic erasers because they're just marketing a product that already existed.
Yeah.
And you're paying 10 times what you should be paying for a magic eraser. And he said, these are just, what are they called?
It's nitrile.
Melamine.
Melamine. Yeah.
These are
I get
melamine
those.
Sponges.
Yeah.
They're it's a thing that already existed. It's a microscopic abrasive material. You get it wet and then you can scrub it and it takes whatever off.
Yeah. I get 100 of them for $12.
Yeah. If you go on Amazon and just search melamine sponges, you can get way more than like a Mr. Clean thing. You get a whole box of them for like under $20.
Yeah, I think 100 of them cost.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. I think 100 of them cost like either like $16 or $18.
Right now, I'm looking on Amazon, and the ones that we ordered last were 100 pieces for $19.98.
Yeah.
So they're 20 cents, basically 20 cents a sponge. And you can use a sponge for a ton of screens.
So many screens.
So we only really use them here for like water-based stains.
Okay.
So I mean, any stain on a screen, really, it'll take off. But for the most part, when we're noticing stains on a screen, it's from like black water base or even red plastisol or something.
When are you doing that? Like in the reclaim process?
So we're running through the auto reclaim or whatever. It's just like anytime you see a screen and you're seeing haze after a while.
Yeah.
701 takes most of it out. It's rare that we have to use a sponge, but like I said, sometimes we'll do a job and they'll do the water base and they won't rinse it out all that well or whatever before it goes to reclaim. When it goes through, that's just the stain on the screen. We'll use the sponge just to like hit it real quick, rinse it.
I thought you were talking about like on press, like if you've got a clog or something.
No, I just have a box of them to where like if there's a stain on a screen, we'll take it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the melamine sponge is what you should search for and not Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Feel like when I first looked for them, I didn't look melamine, but I still got the 100 because I just like scrolled until I found the best price available for the most. And I didn't even know they were called melamine or whatever it is sponges until I feel like I saw it on TikTok as well. Actually, that's what they were called. Well,
I saw that one and I sent it around to like a bunch of friends. I was like,
maybe someone sent it to me as well. But I had already been buying the biggest amount for the cheapest price. I just searched a little bit longer. After you can find them on Amazon by just typing magic eraser.
Yeah, I just typed.
You scroll long enough,
and then I got it.
That'll go straight to it.
Hey guys, do you want to get naked?
Always.
I mean, sure. Oh, I was about to take off.
I love how the people listening or just have no idea why Andy asked us if we wanted to get naked.
Because I have 3.5 apples, 1 banana, 27 blueberries, 3 blackberries, and a hint of carrot right here.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's just losing his mind. He just brings up random topics every so often. I used to get the strawberry banana one of those.
What was the green one? I used to get the green one just because I felt like it was the healthiest one.
Like green
apple.
I think it was like Green Good. Yeah, Green Machine.
What's
is that the company that they had like a class action lawsuit because there was so much sugar in them that they were actually not healthy?
Probably.
Yeah, it was actually bad for you.
There's like 80 grams per serving. There's like 3 servings in one, something like that.
What is it, Andy?
I can't. The type is too small. So sorry.
See, like I'm trying. That's the hard part for me as a thick dude of like eating. Like growing up the way that I grew up in my household of like, you finish what's on your plate.
Yep. Same.
Not necessarily like you eat until you're full bullshit. Like,
no,
I'm like, nope, I ordered this. I have to eat
it all
until it's gone, or I have to eat it tomorrow.
There's starving kids in Ethiopia.
Right. I grew up with that mentality of like, I'm just going to order this portion and I'm going to finish it, even though I feel like I'm going to throw up by the end of it. So anyway, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to not drink soda. I'm trying to like just be a better human in general and like exercise or whatever. I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not the best. I'm trying. But the hard part is like if you go on the internet and search anything to do with health or like what's a good supplement for this or this, there are so many not correct things or like people just trying to sell things. It's not like if you were to search like I feel like it's almost like you could WebMD something and still get the ballpark of what you should do or like what's wrong with you.
Or cancer.
Yeah, like instant cancer. Like, I have my side hurts and like I was like
cancer.
Andy, we were talking about on the show, like there was an episode where I pulled a muscle, but I thought I was dying. Like I thought my fucking, spleen was going to explode or something, but really it was just I pulled a muscle. But like I try to search stuff like Andy was saying, that drink. It's like I'm seeing all these people now with like this like green powder drink that they're having for breakfast instead of like whatever. And it's got
athletic
days.
greens.
Yeah, it's got like a day's worth of like all the shit you need in it. Is that shit actually good for you? Or is it just a company marketing a green powder that's just like, oh yeah, you're going to end up like your balls are going to fall off in 3 years because of this like product that's in it?
I drink one of those like every couple days. So maybe it's good for you. There's no calories. The little green
athletic
powders.
Greens.
Yeah.
I see this other one where this guy calls it mud or something. And it's like the same thing.
That
it's
stuff's
like powder.
Disgusting. It's like, it's got like turmeric and like cordyceps mushrooms and all. It's like a coffee alternative. It tastes like garbage.
See,
and I drink black coffee.
What I'm looking for is like, I have a habit of like in the morning, what I really want is like a big iced tea, like exactly what I have right here. This is what I got this morning, a large iced tea. But when I'm at Dunkin' or McDonald's or whatever, I'm trying to get the tea on. Don't even.
You're from the north, so yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
I usually end up getting like a breakfast sandwich or whatever, and it's like I'm probably shouldn't be starting my day with like a
bunch of
bacon
bread
and cheese or a bagel sandwich, or whatever. Like
Cheerios.
I feel like my struggle isn't lunch and dinner because I can easily get like meat and vegetables or something for lunch and dinner. It's just my breakfast has always been ingrained in me of like, you know, like I should probably get a breakfast sandwich or something. I feel like if I can supplement that with something else that's like actually good for me, like this athletic greens, if it's actually good and it's going to make me feel full and it's going to be good for my body.
There's no filling at all. It's just water.
Cool.
Like
and that's
it's not. It's
my problem is I don't want to feel starving.
Yeah, it's not. It's like you drink that with your eggs and avocado or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not
just to get extra vitamins, essentially.
No.
I think what's important is on your nutritional quest, I guess, is that I think that, and what I've done is a lot of, or a big, shouldn't say a lot, but a good breakfast, nutritional breakfast, very little lunch, and dinner, you know, like just the normal dinner. I think people ruin their diets a lot of times with lunch because they're out of options, you know, like maybe you go to work and you don't have any sort of meal prep, or you haven't bought anything to bring to work. And so you're stuck, and then you end up at fucking Burger King or something, you know?
Yeah.
And it's,
my problem is I'm in that weird spot where like, I'm not a normal size human being where like, yeah, I'm a little on the thick side, but I'm also a large human. Like I feel like I can consume twice as much food as you and feel the same.
So from my understanding on that,
so like if you're like, oh, you should have 2 egg whites and a slice of avocado, I'd be like, wow, that's like,
you need
taking
6 of them,
like a thimble of something and be like, I'm full.
Yeah.
Like
from my understanding, the way that's supposed to work is the beginning of your day is when your highest caloric value, that you need to do your job, do all the things. So you're supposed to start with a full gas tank, and then dinner is supposed to be the smallest amount of calories and taper down as you're tapering down energy use.
Well, breakfast is technically, isn't it supposed to be like break fast of like you fasting while you're sleeping?
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You're breaking a fast if you're doing intermittent fasting or whatever.
Which is exactly, I was listening to this podcast, and it's, so a lot of people intermittent fast and they try and go like 16 hours, and there's nothing, I think that in the short term that probably is good for weight loss, but in the long term, there are actually some negative effects. And so
I don't care about weight loss. Not trying to lose. I mean, yeah, hopefully I lose weight, but like, I just want to be healthier. Like
that's fine. And the breakfast idea is that, and the best idea is that if you eat every 12 hours. And so what that means is if you eat breakfast at, let's say 7, well, then you wait 12 hours and eat dinner at 7. Yeah. And so, or if you eat breakfast at 6, then you eat at 6. And so the idea of that is that you're not eating all day or not eating lunch, because you have to give your body a chance to go and use some of its stored fats and things like that. So that those burn off instead of sit there and turn to cancer and things like that.
See, the thing is now I'm listening to you and I believe you. I'm like, I believe what Andy is telling me.
I'm a scientist. I'm a doctor.
I've also heard so many times the polar opposite of that, where it's like, you should eat little amounts of things all day long so that your metabolism stays like running all day long. So it was like, when you wake up, eat this thing, and then maybe 2 hours later have a bag of carrots, and then a little while later have like a cheese stick.
Well, I think it's what your goals
thing.
are, because, hey, are your goals that you're working out and you're trying to build muscle? Because then you should eat a lot of protein and eat a lot of calories. And so, because maybe that's your goal, but
yeah.
And that's in the long run, though, if you're talking about longevity and health and trying to live longer, well, maybe that's not the best idea, because where are you getting your proteins from? Are they red meats? Because then that may kill you at age 50.
Yeah,
sure, you survived and you were really strong.
Red meat's the best.
Oh, I'm a meat at every meal kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like if you give me a meal that doesn't have meat in it, it's not a fucking meal. Get it out of here.
But also, anybody who's telling Andy and Dylan to eat the same diet that's going to work for both of you is an idiot. Like, you're two totally different body types. It's not going to react the same. There's no like one diet that works for everyone. You've got to find what works for you. Also, the thing that you can stick with long term, that you're like happy with.
That's exactly my
That's
thing.
the real
thing. I don't want to try any diets. I don't want to try any new stuff. I just want to be like, okay, like I'm going to cut soda out. I'm going to cut like fast food out, and I'm just going to try to go on more walks, and I'm just going to try to have more like real food. Like,
you're making a lifestyle change.
But like I said, it's the convenience factor in the morning. Like for me, I'm not awake enough when I leave my house and take my kids to school to like go downstairs and fry up like 2 eggs and a piece of whole wheat toast and like all this stuff. I just grab the shit after I drop the kids off. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go grab a tea and I'm going to grab a sandwich. I'm going to come back to my desk. I'm going to eat it before everyone gets here. I'm going to watch some YouTube. I'm going to work until noon. I'm going to go get like a chicken salad for lunch. And then for dinner, I'll have like steak and potatoes, and then whatever, like do it all over again the next day. Like that's what I'm shooting for. So that's my goal right now, is to find something that I can have for breakfast. That's like,
I got
actually
it.
Good.
I know it. Hot dogs.
Fuck yeah. Ballpark Franks.
They're decent cold. They're better hot. There you go.
Okay.
Quick and easy.
Well, that was hell of a shop hack.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions for us?
Oh, I did. So you guys have talked a couple times about a specific big company at trade shows, like ignoring little guys that aren't wearing. Yeah. Like, so this kind of bugs me, because why not call them out? Like, so they can do better. Cause like, if we're ignoring them and like trying to play nice and they don't know, maybe they don't know that they did that.
The problem is I feel like it's all of them to a degree.
And call them all out. But it sounds like it's one specific company that you all have talked to multiple people and everybody looks at each other and you're like, that one. Yeah, that one. We still love their equipment. Yeah, exactly. One of those. It's like, we love their equipment. We've all got it, but they're kind of dickheads. Like
the thing with that is it is changing. Like even just us talking on this show. Yeah. Even just us talking on the show has put a lot of things in motion where, and this one particular thing I'm about to talk about is not necessarily related to our show, and they're doing it all on their own, is like the print girl stuff, like the print girl.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
Awesome.
Like them creating a group and being out in front of everybody and saying, they're getting a lot of attention and saying what's really going on is really opening the eyes of a lot of these printers and being like, or these manufacturers, and being like, we're sorry, we need to pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and if nobody calls them out, they never know.
Right. And shit like that is super important. And I'm all for pushing that stuff as much as possible, because I feel like it's super needed. I've heard the story too many times. That people are, coming check in hand to different manufacturers and just kind of being, ignored or whatever. And
they aren't wearing a sweater vest.
We've heard it from all the manufacturers. It's not just one. It's just,
okay.
I just feel like it's the industry as a whole. And I feel like it's going through stages. And I feel like sometimes the screen printing industry is so archaic when all these other industries are like so like progressive or whatever. And it's just kind of, I feel like we're getting there. I feel like it was the boys club for a long time, and it was the old guys club for a long time. Yeah. And now it's the, younger guys and girls club. And I feel like everyone's kind of at this point now where it's all evolving, and it's all because of the internet and because of people wanting to go to trade shows to hang out, not necessarily spend $1 million on equipment. I feel like it's opening up to everybody. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like, it's working itself out.
Okay. That's good.
And plus the people that were old before are dying, and new people are coming in, and it's just
Get them out.
I think it's
just,
a combination.
It's just changing.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of things, honestly. I think that I think that's part of it. I think that for a while when you're on top, you maybe you get comfortable, and your competition is, I mean, you're way above the competition and you don't have to try too hard for those sales, and you're interested in the over 25.
You want the big fish. Yeah.
The big fish, just like we don't want the, 5-piece shirt order deal.
They don't want the manual press.
Maybe they don't. Also, it's weird. We're in an industry where, so me personally, like I don't wear fancy clothes, and so I wear t-shirts and
exactly.
I'm trying to say you're wearing a shirt I printed.
Yeah, I wear shit shirts,
Right.
and so so yesterday I went to buy I'm trying to get a new car, and I went to this dealership and just not looking, just wearing my normal clothes, t-shirt.
Yeah.
And so when I go in that situation, you always wonder, because they have people walk in their dealerships all the time, and then you're the salesman, and I'm sure they have a lot of tire kickers, but I was actually going there to do a deal.
Yeah.
And so he helped me, and then he asked me, and then he talked about finance, and I'm not financing it. I'm just buying it. Like I'm buying the car. And he says, after we start to do the deal, he says, what business, what line of work are you in? And I said, t-shirts. That's it.
That's it.
And he's probably, because I don't want to come and say, what we do. I never do. Dylan and I talked about this before too. Like I'm just in t-shirts. We got
You always
talking
get that pat on the head. They're like, oh, you make
cute.
t-shirts?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I love that too, because I don't want to be the person that I want to be under the radar. I don't want you to think that I have any money. I want you to look like a bum.
Yeah.
And so
that's why I drive an old van.
And so
this is the excuse we give each other. Like we all want to have cool shit. We just like to say to each other, yeah, I'd like to look like an asshole.
No, I genuinely want to fly under the radar. I don't want people to think I have money. I drive a fucking 20-year-old van that I got for 50 shirts. For Christ's sake.
The same way. I'm just saying, but I grew up poor and redneck. So that's just
I spend my money on all this
blood.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my point was that, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of that, because if you are a certain equipment manufacturer and you're talking to, let's say, Nike or whoever, and they're going to buy 5 presses, or you're just talking to this person that's in a t-shirt, you never know. I suppose maybe, you don't want to waste your time.
Just treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And
but that's
none
so
of this
true.
matters.
That's what
none
I'm
of it
getting
matters.
at, is that you're exactly right. Is that you
follow the golden rule.
You just never know.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit and say, you got to think though, that if you're at a trade show and you're a sales guy and the only way you're going to make money, like you flew to this trade show, you're away from your friends and family. You're at the trade show. Your goal is to make sure you get as many high ticket sales as possible, because that's your commission. That's your way of life. That's your whatever. If you stop, and like I said, that they should treat everybody as equals, whatever. But if they stop and talk to every random dude in a holy t-shirt and be like, oh, let me help you out with this thing, they're going to miss on all these other people that might want to come in and buy. Maybe. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying that, like, in their eyes, they're trying to sell as many big ticket items as they can, so their commission is higher at the end of the day, whatever. It's not right that they don't treat everybody the same. I'm just saying that I feel like I'm sticking up for them a little bit.
One of those stories, it was a couple that owned a print shop, and they ended up going with, I believe, MHM, because they were sitting at the M&R booth and they sat there and waited, and the salespeople just kept chatting it up with the sweater vest people and just ignored them. Like you can sell to everybody and give everybody a decent amount of time and talk to them, and not like, that was the one that I was like, oh, fuck these guys. That sucks. Because it sounded like they were just chatting it up with some like dude wearing a golf polo or whatever in fancy shoes. And they sat there because they wanted I think it was M&R that they wanted. And they ended up going with a Rock or an MHM or something else. And they had like $100,000 ready to spend. And they said they sat there for like an hour, or maybe it was a half an hour.
Moral of the story is the next trade show, I'm going to wear a sweater vest and a polo, and then I'll get the attention I need, right? So then
My advice to devil's advocate is if you're going to a trade show, no matter how you dress, what you do, don't just sit down and wait for somebody to come over to you.
Oh yeah,
walk up to them, be assertive, and be like, "Hey, I want to buy this gauntlet. I want to buy this sprint. I've got a check in hand. Let's make the deal."
Yeah.
Like, don't sit back and be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm
fair.
waiting for somebody to come up and talk to me."
Yeah. Maybe
Nobody
maybe.
said anything, so I walked away. It's like, I get that if like you tried to be assertive and they just kept blowing you off, like you kept looking and being like, "Hey, I'm next," and they blew you off. But don't say you just like wandered into the booth and then just like were hoping someone would walk up to you and like
I think
try
you
to
walk.
sell you.
I think you walk up to the booth and you just just like with
You
hundreds.
walk up to somebody who's sitting in or who has a blue or a green or red or whatever polo and say, "Hey, I'm here now. I love this. Tell me more about this piece of equipment, this piece of equipment, this piece of equipment, because I'm looking to buy."
Yeah, maybe they didn't tell the full story and they were just sitting there like waiting patiently.
I'm not knocking those
whatever.
people because they should have been looked after. I'm just saying, if you have the money and you want to buy a piece of equipment, walk your fucking ass in there, show them what you're worth, and just buy that piece of equipment.
Yeah, fair. Two sides to every story.
I think that if you're a salesperson and you're only concerned about sales, then you're in the wrong line of business. I think that if you're working for whatever manufacturer it is, you've really got to love who you work for. You've got to love the screen printing industry. You've got to love all of that stuff. And you have to just give out for free, knowledge and value, talk to anybody and everybody. And if you act like that, because if that's how I operate here. That's how I run SureCon.
No, I agree.
Is that I do all of that,
It will come
and I
back
give
to you.
out. Yeah, and don't do it with the idea for the only reason that it's going to come back to me, right? Do it with just, hey, I'm putting that out there, and if that's the way I kind of go through life, then you're right. Then it does come back eventually. You're genuinely trying to help people, genuinely trying to solve a problem and print shirts for this or that and everything like that. Then
I just think this is more of a new school way of doing it. And I feel like that's why I said, I feel like it's evolving and it's becoming more of that, like put knowledge out there, because our industry is also known for, even a couple of years ago, being like closeted on like secrets, and the old school sales mentality is like the madmen mentality of like, like we gotta be better than this guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like the guard is changing. It's evolving in this new thing. I feel like a lot of that was the old stuff and the new stuff's coming in. So I don't know. I'm very optimistic for every manufacturer right now. And like the best part, like Danny was saying, is like each company having so much competition now with like social media and like all this other stuff and getting influencers and all this other stuff. It's just making everybody more like better and on their toes about making sure they're doing the best they can do for the people that are in this industry. So like I said, the people like Print Girl Mafia and, different groups or podcasts or anything like that are getting people's attention of like, oh, fuck, we need to do something a little bit better than we were doing before.
I agree. And don't be salesman-y. Just like you said earlier, go beyond, go beyond expectations. And so if you're a salesman, like I had a guy, Kyle Bressler was here. He's M&R rep. He was here on Friday, and he wasn't salesman-y. He came by and we chatted. He helped actually with information. He cares about the company he works for. He was actually a tech there, and he cares. So he knows screen printing. He knows the industry.
Real good
and
dude,
he's
too.
here not trying to like close a sale or anything like that. He's here just in support and giving out, I guess, information. And if you come with that, like just like you said earlier, Dylan, if you talk to somebody and they already have a printer, you don't have to close them. You can just say, send them something. You know what I'm saying? Do something for them.
I'm here if you need me.
I'm here if you need me. Yeah, don't be. And so to answer, like to that point, at a convention or at a trade show, just I think if they went with that sort of mentality, just and I'm going to talk to everybody, give out information, and it's and if I don't sell a press, that's cool. Maybe I will in a month, or maybe I will next month. They'll remember me, And I hope that those companies don't have like quotas, because I know it's a big deal. Like, hey, when we go to this trade show, maybe we'll sell $1 million or whatever that is. You know, if you go in
I'm
there,
sure they
with that
do.
kind
I'm sure they have pressure.
I'm sure it costs them thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to set up. They need to make a good ROI on setting up at these things, or it's not worth it.
That's what I'm saying. That's me playing devil's advocate. Is like, they have shit that they need to get done, and they need to make sure they're getting a lot of sales, because there are a lot of tire kickers. There's a lot of things at trade shows. Like if you've never been, and we mention it and you see it, like people with carts or people with like big backpacks, they're just walking around getting free shit. They're going up to somebody being like, "Hey, show me this press. Can I have a free shirt?" And that's all they do is they grab the free shirt, throw it in their bag, and they walk to the next thing. And it's like, if you were a sales guy, do you want to do that 900 times, or do you want to talk to the person who has a check that's like, I want to buy this piece of equipment? So, like I said, if you want to buy something at anybody's booth, walk in confidently and be like, I'm ready to fucking buy this thing. Like, just do it. Just walk in and be like, tell me about this because I want to buy it right now. Yeah. So
be assertive.
Right. Quick takes.
It is time for quick takes. So, Eric, what is one thing you need every day?
A big breakfast, like a good hearty breakfast. Every morning I make
a big breakfast sandwich with extra gravy.
No. I eat like 4 eggs, half an avocado, 2 cups of broccoli, and 3 pieces of sausage every morning.
That sounds
it is wonderful. And it gets to like making it and like going through my morning routine. Like it takes me exactly like an hour and 15 minutes, everything through if I'm rushing, and it just builds a good foundation for the day. And I feel if I miss that, I'm having a horrible day for sure.
It's good. That's what I said. I feel like the biggest thing for people in the morning is that routine. So like if your routine is to do that, then that's awesome. My routine is to get up, take the kids to school, grab what I got to grab, get back here, do what I got to do before people get in. And then that's my morning routine. So
I try not to rush anything in the morning.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Favorite snack?
At work, like lightly salted almonds. After work, like gummy bears or like a cheese, like cheese.
Those are 2 different things.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah, exactly. At work, I'm like trying to like not feel like garbage. After work, all bets are off. Let's go.
No, gummy bears. What brand are you going for? Are you going?
So right now I'm eating these like healthy gummy bears that like have low sugar. Yeah,
I kind of like those.
They're kind of tight. They're awesome. Like I don't like a lot of sugar.
They have like a different texture.
Yeah, they're a little stiffer. Like they're a little chewier.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. They kind of like more break up in your mouth rather than just like chewy.
Yeah. They're awesome. And I don't like sugar that much in general. Like I don't put my tea has no sugar. My coffee has no sugar.
I'm not a big into sweets kind of thing.
I mean, if I eat a Swiss cake roll, I love it. It's delicious. But
okay, I'm gonna poke at you on that too. Do you just bite a Swiss cake roll, or do you unravel a Swiss cake?
Unravel it. Yeah, I'm trying to.
High five on that.
Like I'm trying to like savor a Swiss cake roll.
It's the same thing with those like Nutter Butters or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you don't just bite into it. You gotta each layer
tear it apart. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right.
Trying to take my time through something that's slowly killing me from the inside out.
Right. Fat kid things.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to avoid my fat kid things.
What do you call a bear with no teeth?
I don't know.
Your question.
Yeah, it's. I've never heard this question before.
It's a gummy bear. Come on.
Oh wow! Yeah, it is.
All right. So the real question is, where is your happy place?
Either on the couch with my dog and my wife watching whatever TV show we're watching, or every Wednesday night for the last like decade, I've hung out with the same group of guys. Like we hang out, talk shit, get dinner, blow off steam, whatever. One of those 2 places.
I agree with those.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are you watching right now? What shows are you watching?
My wife and I are watching Dexter. It's her first watch through.
The new one or the old one?
She's never watched Dexter at all. She thought she wouldn't like it. And she's like every other woman in America, loves like murder mysteries, whatever, crime documentaries. And somehow she thought she wouldn't like Dexter. I started watching. Yeah, I watched the new season and she sat in the living room for like half an episode and she just goes, fuck, now we have to watch this, don't we? And I was like, yeah, let's go. We'll watch it again. And we're on either the last episode or second to last episode before the new season. So she's about to be really disappointed temporarily.
It's like if you had to go back and watch Lost with somebody.
Oh,
it's like
I tried.
It was like this is a really good show, but I know I'm going to be disappointed when it's over.
And see, on my spare time, and when she's in bed, I'm watching Game of Thrones, which also ends slightly disappointing.
I don't know. I like how they wrapped up Game of Thrones. I feel like
I do too. Better, actually,
it's way better than. I'm always so bitter about Lost.
Yeah, Lost was terrible. Like, arguably one of the worst endings of a TV show in ever. I'm
just so bitter because I watched it every week, like when it came out on TV.
Luckily,
yeah. So it was just like years of disappointment.
Yeah, because that show started so insane, and then just like,
the very first episode or a couple episodes, people started making fan theories where they were like, "Oh, I wonder if it's purgatory." And then they're like, hey, we have all these seasons to still do. And then you know how they wrap it up? They're like, yeah, they're in purgatory.
Oh, yeah. You were right.
You're right guess from episode 2.
Your first guess was 100% right. Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Or that smog monster thing that whatever that was.
They never didn't answer half of those things.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, next one.
2 autos or 10 autos?
2 forever. Stay small. Don't grow unless you have to. 2 autos forever. It's not worth going that big.
It's a consensus.
Yeah.
All right. Do you believe in Sasquatch?
I believe
or aliens. I need to adjust your question here, Andy. I feel like I want to know if you believe in any of that stuff. Sasquatch, aliens, Loch Ness Monster.
I don't have enough information to say that it's false. So like I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I have no idea what's in Louisville. I have no idea what's in upstate New York forests or on fucking Mars. Like I'm not smart enough to say that it's not real. Sasquatch, maybe not. Aliens, I don't know. Definitely. Maybe not.
Definitely
but aliens, like it's pretty arrogant to say, no, those definitely don't exist. And I'm arrogant enough with plenty of other things.
Okay. Wrap it up, Andy.
What's for dinner?
Whatever my wife decides. I think we might go get sushi and go to a movie.
That was a perfect full circle moment because the very first thing we were talking about was permission from our wives. And you wrapped it up with whatever my wife says I have to have. Yeah.
Like whatever gets me not yelled at. It's my life goals. Not getting yelled at.
Oh God.
Customers, wives, all of them.
Sounds good. What do you think she's making?
Oh, she's not making anything. We're going to go out to dinner. I mean, either pasta or sushi, I think is what will probably happen.
Okay. Sounds good.
Does sound good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have some real buffalo wings tonight. That's why we had to have this early is because I'm driving to Buffalo. I'm taking a 4-hour drive to see the midnight play in Buffalo, but I want to stop and get some buffalo wings beforehand.
Do you think the buffalo wings in Buffalo are any better than?
I think just because of where I am in general in New York,
fair.
All wings are kind of not all wings. Like Buffalo style is more like shaken and extra crispy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places around me that make them that way. It's just nice to go to Buffalo because of the
going to the source
expectation
yeah
of wings there for the restaurants that make them. They make sure they're like good all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually when we go to Buffalo, we try to do like a 50 wing challenge or whatever. Or
50 for one person?
Yeah.
That's not that. That's honestly, it's more work than it is food.
Yeah. Or what sauce you're having. You get filled up on sauce before you get filled up on anything else.
Yeah, I feel like I just get tired of all the work with chicken wings at 20 pieces.
Then you just get 50 boneless wings. So it's just like 50 chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I'll pass on that too.
All right, man. Well, thanks for doing this with us. We really appreciate it, especially, for me making the sacrifice of doing it in the morning. I know you're not a morning person, but I appreciate it.
Worked out fine.
Sweet.
I've got the whole day to do whatever.
Thanks, Andy, for doing the same. I love you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I love you too, Dylan, and thanks again, Eric. And I love you too.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel Eric feel left out.
Yeah,
Love
we
you,
love
man.
you.
Yeah, love you guys too.